Okay. Alright. Alrighty. I have this thing pulled up on my laptop. I'm waiting for it to kick in because as soon as it kicks in, it's going to be ringing over my headset. So I'm trying to get this done before we even do the intro song. There it goes. Alright, got it. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Exposing Powerful Lies. We are going to start this off as we normally do with our intro song. I'm pulling it up on my phone right now. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Come on in. Come on in. Sit on down. What's up, Daniel, dude? Shouts out to the homie Daniel, to Wilhelm, to Crispy Johnson, to Gary Newman, to Slowboy Whiteboard. What's going on, y'all? What's up? What's up? What's up? Hope y'all are ready. Dinosaurs are gay. Dude, I don't know if y'all know this, but I did the studies have shown the dinosaur is gay. You can't argue with the science, dude. You can't argue with the science. It's now a conclusive fact. All right, y'all. Let's get this intro song kicking. Let's get those likes up. Let's get those thumbs up. Let's get those subscribes up. Let's get those ice cubes cold. Let's get those Ewoks fuzzy, and I will be right back. Peace. Okay, alright, here we are. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Exposing Powerful Lies. Coming at ya one more time on the porch for another cozy late night porch stream. Thank y'all so much for being here. Shouts out to all the homies in the chat. Special shouts out to my longtime friend Crispy Johnson. It's always good to see you, homie. My man's been here since day one, and we never forget it. Gay diabetic dinosaur? No. Yes, that's true. That is very true. I was testing out the polling function on YouTube here, and I asked, "Is the dinosaur gay?" 89%. Yes. 11% no. I'm very curious who voted no. It was 100%. Now it's 89%. But you know what? I think the science has been pretty clear here. I'm pretty sure that. I'm pretty sure we all know. We all know the score now. You don't argue with the data. You can't argue with the data. I'm excited today. We got some good stories for you guys, man. We got some good stories. We got some good radio shows, and so we're gonna get to it. Hope y'all had a good day. I had a really good day. Church was great. Liturgy was great. We stayed pretty late today. Hung out at coffee hour, and the buzz, dude. The buzz was strong on the Jay Dyer Tim Gordon debate. Everyone was talking about it. I want to talk about it. This almost was the debate review stream. And I'm just saying it's probably going to happen. Okay? I thought about doing a poll. Last time I did a poll asking if y'all wanted to see me review the Jay Dyer debate, it was literally like 90% yes, so I'm not even going to bother. I know you guys want to see me suffer and struggle through an 8-hour debate review stream. I think it probably would only take about 3 hours to do it. I don't want to kill the vibe here today on our beautiful, cozy campfire stream by talking about the debate too much. So all I'll say is that, the coffee hour was a buzz. Everybody's talking about it. And as a longtime, Jay mod, Jay supporter, Jay viewer, I just have to slow golf clap. I think Jay was at the top of his game. Best I've ever seen him. In terms of just composed, being able to present the position, even being charitable. I mean, at least until about 2 hours in, and then he got into his typical Jay thing where he's like just losing it because he's just like he's over it. Once he realizes somebody's being, they're not getting it or they're being disingenuous or they're dodging, then the sort of Jay that we all know and love comes out. But I was shocked because in that first 2 hours, I mean, he even said our Roman Catholic friends or brothers or something like that. I was like, damn, dude, Jay's getting a little charitable up in here. Oh my goodness. So if you guys haven't seen that, we're definitely gonna have to do a debate review. When we're gonna do it, probably at some point this week. That's typically how I do the debate reviews, is after the buzz has already died and after it's long since over, because I'm always a little bit behind the 8 ball. But gonna be doing it. You know what's gonna happen. Jay looked old. He did, dude. We're all getting old, man. Time is flying. I mean, it's been like 6 years since we were all little babies in Jay's chat, his 40,000 subscriber channel, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, my man's blows up. Seems like only yesterday, frickin' based homeschool mom was just naming a chat, and then we all became friends, and then Rachel and Andy and everybody and Jim Bob shows up out of nowhere. I remember, man, back before I even was Orthodox, before I even discovered Jay Dyer, I knew of Made by Jim Bob because I was still watching Owen Benjamin streams, and Jim Bob was over there in the chat. And then when I left when I stopped watching his stuff and started watching Jay's stuff, and then a couple of years later, Jim Bob pops up again, and it's like, oh, I already know. So we've been through a lot. All right, we all been through a lot. We all been through a lot here in this circle of the internet. We've had homies come out of nowhere and blow up, get on Tucker Carlson, get on Piers Morgan. Shouts out to Andy and Rachel for blowing up the scene, dude, getting huge and famous. Shouts out to Jay Dyer for just that slow grind, that slow growth. Started from the bottom. Now he's the king of the molehill. And so I cannot express enough how proud I was of Jay during that debate. And we're definitely going to be reviewing it. BL8 and Jamie going right now, but I'm here. Oh my god, I didn't know, dude. I didn't know. I feel like I'm at war with Jamie, dude. I feel like I'm literally at streaming war with Jamie every time. Every time I go live, Jamie's got a premiere. Jamie's got a show. It's Jamie every single time. All right, you want war? All right, Jamie Dyer, you want war? It's war. Okay. Now I'm doing it on purpose. Okay, we're just gonna say I'm doing it on purpose. Anyways, let's get to the show. And I appreciate you being here, Slow Boy. I appreciate you. And people watch what they want to watch. Now, I do have a little bit of a sore subject here today for you guys because last time I did a show like this, I was really proud of myself. I was reading the story. I was getting into the story. I was like, I'm doing good. I'm sitting here. This is me. I'm sitting here reading. I'm like, I'm doing good. I'm doing a good job. And then I go back and I listen to the stream, and I realized that the microphone was too close to my mouth, and the audio sucked, and nobody told me. So I'm blaming you. I'm blaming you. I know it's my channel. I know it's my responsibility, but somehow it's your fault. So now I've got to frickin' test the audio before we actually start, because God forbid I do that again. It's gonna ruin it. Okay? It's gonna ruin it. Don't ruin my show. Okay? It's my birthday party. Don't ruin it. And yeah, I'm drinking blueberry. What did he say? Where is it? Drinking blueberry slushies. Nah, dude, I'm drinking that methylene blue. Okay, I got the blue lips. Please ignore the blue lips. You know how it is. That methylene blue, it stains your freaking lips. There's nothing you can do about it. I look like it's 30 degrees out and I'm dying of hypothermia. Shouts out to Caitlin. Oh, snap, professional yapper. She's here for it. What's up, Caitlin? Good to see you. Good to see you. Kristen, homie slow boy whiteboard. K-Ram up in the house. Shouts out to all the homies, dude. So, today, our radio show today, I listened to like 3 days ago. I was doing something, playing a game. I was doing something, and I was listening to the CBS episodes. This one, I believe, is like episode 3 out of the entire series. You know, I was going through the early episodes, and it was a really, really good one. So I have heard it before. My memory is trash. I don't even remember anything about it, so it'll be like discovering it brand new for the first time. That one's going to be fun. I do have multiple short stories we're going to be reading. If you guys weren't here for the last one, I got my thick-ass book of short stories that we're going to be reading from tonight. 3 stories I have listed. One of them is like 3 pages long. Another one's only a couple pages long. And another one is, I don't know, 5, 6 pages. So they're all short. So we're gonna slam through them. Before we start, I'm just going to say, like I said, I got to test the audio. I'm going to play the music in the background, because what I noticed is not only was the microphone too close to my face, but the audio was too low. So let's do that real quick right now. I'm going to start playing the music. I'm going to start talking. Then I'm going to mute my mic, and I'm going to pull it up on my phone. I'm going to listen, and as long as it sounds okay, we can start her up. All right? And Caitlin, no, it is not my birthday. I was just joking. I was just joking. It's not actually my birthday. All right, let's do this real quick. All right, here goes the music. The music is started. It's full volume. Testing, testing, testing. Testing, testing, testing. Okay, let me listen to it on my phone and make sure this is good, because I don't want to read a whole story and then realize, oh, the audio is too low, my voice is too low, my voice is too high. So let me just do this real quick, and then we'll get to the story. Thank you all so much for being here. Please like and share. And remember, if you like the show, you want to support the show, you want to send in a message, you want to tell me how much you can't stand this, how much you wish I would go back to doing debate reviews, then you can send that in via Cash App, PayPal, and Venmo, and I'll read all Super Chats live. Thank you so much for being here. Okay. You can barely hear the frickin' music. I got it all the way up. I don't know. Oh, dude, I didn't even share the screen. I didn't even share the screen. What am I doing, guys? I'm losing my mind, dude. I'm frickin' losing my mind. I was all discombobulated because as soon as I wanted to go live, I had to pee all of a sudden. Okay. Testing, testing, testing. 1, 2. Is the music too loud? Is the music too loud? All right, one more time. Sorry, I know. Boomer tech, noob, boomer. Get it? I'm losing my mind, dude. I'm freaking losing. Okay, it sounds. And I forgot to mute my screen. All right, let's just get to the story. I'm done. I'm boomer teched out. All right, enough of this. Enough of this. Little bit about this story. I got this book, like I said, 13 years ago. And the other day, I opened it up, and I was like, what story are we going to read for our next stream? And there was this little bookmark in it, a bus schedule from 2016. From September 4th, 2016. This is a freaking almost a 10-year-old bus route. And I just looked at it and I said, I don't remember why I marked this story, so I started reading it. It's a really good story, so clearly I marked it for a reason. So this is the story we're going to read. It's called It Only Comes Out at Night by Dennis Etchison. And how crazy is that, dude? I was looking at it, I'm like, dude, 2016, that's when I first came out of my liberal mind fog, you know? I just started, like, realizing, wow, I was really dumb. I was wrong about everything. Whoa. So that made me happy seeing that, man. Crazy. Alright, so let's get the banner up on stream. Hopefully we won't have any more boomer tech for the entire rest of the show. The 46 bus, it's coming. Please, guys, in the chat, do your part. Let me know if the music becomes too loud, if the mic is too close to my face. This is a group effort, okay? Group effort. Yo, mom comes out at night. Oh, snap. It could be a lot of things, K-Ram. It certainly could. But we will find out what comes out at night. This is It Comes Out at Night by Dennis Etchison, 1976. And all of these stories in this book start with a little blurb about the author, so that's what we're going to do. Dennis Etchison, born in 1943, is an American writer and editor of fantasy and horror fiction. His novels include Dark Side, published 1986, Shadow Man, published 1994, and California Gothic, published 1995. Etchison's stunning short stories have been especially well regarded by critics and genre fans, receiving the World Fantasy Award and the British Fantasy Award. Stories like It Only Comes Out at Night, 1976, demonstrate the effectiveness of Etchison's minimalist approach, naturalistic, but still undeniably strange, unease becoming horrific, sometimes in the span of a single paragraph. Etchison helped influence and shape the U.S. horror boom of the early 1990s while remaining sui generis. So, that is the blurb. We're getting a low Wi-Fi signal, so this internet best frickin'. Let's go, dude. We don't want any glitches here. Smoke 'em if you got 'em. Welcome to the porch stream. If you leave LA by way of San Bernardino, headed for Route 66, and points east, you must cross the Mojave Desert. Even after Needles and the border, however, there is no relief. The dry air only thins further as the long, relentless climb continues in earnest. Flagstaff is still almost 200 miles, and Winslow, Gallup, and Albuquerque are too many hours away to think of making without food, rest, and mercifully sleep. It is like this. The car runs hot, hotter than it ever has before. The plies of the tires expand and contract until the sidewalls begin to shimmy slightly as they spin over the miserable Arizona roads, giving up a faint odor like burning hair from between the treads, as the windshield colors over with the essence of honeybee, wasp, dragonfly, mayfly, junebug, ladybug, and the like, and the radiator, clotted with the bodies of countless kamikaze insects, hisses like a moribund lizard in the sun. All of which means, of course, that if you are traveling that way between May and September, you move by night. Only by night. For there are, after all, dawn check-in motels, do not disturb signs for bungalow doorknobs. There are diners for mid-afternoon breakfast, coffee by the carton. There are 24-hour filling stations, bright as dreams, Whiting Brothers, Conoco, Terrible Herbst. Their flags are unfamiliar as their names, with ice machines, soda machines, candy machines, and there are the sudden, unexpected rest areas just off the highway with brick bathrooms and showers and electrical outlets, constructed especially for those who are weary, out of money, behind schedule. So Maclay had to learn the hard way. He slid his hands to the bottom of the steering wheel and peered ahead into the darkness, trying to relax. But the wheel stuck to his fingers like warm candy. Off somewhere to his left, the horizon flickered with pearly luminescence, then faded again to black. This time, he did not bother to look. Sometimes, though, he wondered just how far away the lightning was striking. Not once during the night had the sound of its thunder reached him here in the car. Just checking the chat, making sure nobody's telling me that the frickin' audio is terrible. If the audio does get terrible, please tell me. Please, for the love of God. In the back seat, his wife moaned. The trip out had turned all but unbearable for her. 4 days it had taken, instead of the expected 2.5. He made a great effort not to think of it, but the memory hung over the car like a thunderhead. It had been a blur, a fever dream. Once, on the second day, he had been passed by a churning bus, its silver sides blinding him until he noticed a Mexican woman in one of the window seats. She was not looking at him. She was holding a swooning infant to the glass, squeezing water on its head from a plastic baby bottle to keep it from passing out. McClay sighed and fingered the buttons on the car radio. He knew he would get nothing from the AM or FM bands, not out here, but he clicked it on anyway. He left the volume and tone controls down so as not to wake Evie. Then he punched the seldom-used middle button, the short wave band, and raised the gain carefully until he could barely hear the radio over the hum of the tires. Static. Slowly he swept the tuner across the bandwidth, but there was only white noise. It reminded him a little of the summer rain yesterday, starting back the way it had sounded bouncing off the windows. He was about to give up when he caught a voice, crackling, drifting in and out. He worked the knob like a safecracker, zeroing in on the signal. A few bars of music, a tone, then the voice again. Greenwich Mean Time, then the station ID. It was the Voice of America overseas broadcast. He grunted disconsolately and killed it. His wife stirred. "Why'd you turn it off?" she murmured. "I was listening to that. Good program." "Take it easy," he said. "Easy. You're still asleep. We'll be stopping soon." "Only comes out at night," he heard her say, and then she was lost again in the blankets. He pressed the glove compartment, took out one of the automobile club guides. It was already clipped open. McClay flipped on the overhead light and drove with one hand, reading over, for the 100th time, the list of motels that lay ahead. He knew the list by heart, but seeing the names again reassured him somehow. Besides, it helped break the monotony. It was the kind of place you never expect to find in the middle of a long night. A bright place with buildings, well, a building at least, and cars, other cars drawn off the highway to be together in the protective circle of light. A rest area. He would have spotted it without the sign. Elevated sodium vapor lighting bathed the scene in an almost peach-colored glow, strikingly different from the cold blue-white sentinels of the interstate highway. He had seen other rest area signs on the way out, probably even this one. But in the daylight, the signs had meant nothing more to him than frontage road or business district next right. He wondered if it were the peculiar warmth of light that made the small island of blacktop appear so inviting. McClay decelerated, downshifted, and left Interstate 40. The car dipped and bumped, and he was aware of the new level of sound from the engine as it geared down for the first time in hours. He eased into a Pontiac Firebird, towed the emergency brake, and cut the ignition. He allowed his eyes to close and his head to sink back into the headrest at last. The first thing he noticed was the quiet. It was deafening. His ears literally began to ring with the high-pitched whine of a late-night TV test pattern. The second thing he noticed was a tingling at the tip of his tongue. It brought to mind a picture of a snake's tongue, picking up electricity from the air, he thought. The third was the rustling awake of his wife in the back. She pulled herself up. Are we sleeping now? Why are the lights? He saw the outline of her head in the mirror. It's just a rest stop, hon. The car needs a break. Well, it was true, wasn't it? You want a restroom? There's one back there. See it? Oh my God. What's the matter now? Leg's asleep. Listen, are we or are we not going to get up? There's a motel coming up. He didn't say that they wouldn't hit that one that he had marked on the book for another couple of hours. He didn't want to argue. He knew she needed the rest. He needed it too, didn't he? Think I'll have some more of that coffee, though, he said. Isn't any more, she yawned. The door slammed. Now he was able to recognize the ringing in his ears for what it was, the sound of his own blood. It almost succeeded in replacing the steady drone of the car. He twisted around, fishing over the back of the seat for the ice chest. There should be a couple of Coke left, at least. His fingers brushed the basket next to the chest, rifling the edges of maps and tour books, by now reshuffled haphazardly over the first aid kit he had packed himself. Tourniquet, forceps, scissors, ammonia inhalants, merthiolate, triangular bandages, compress, adhesive bandages, tannic acid, and the fire extinguisher, the extra carton of cigarettes, the remainder of a half a gallon of drinking water, the thermos, which Evie said was empty, and why would she lie? He popped the top of a can. Through the side window, he saw Evie disappearing around the corner of the building. She was wrapped to the gills in her blanket. He opened the door and slid out, his back aching. He stood there blankly, the unnatural light washing over him. He took a long, sweet pull from the can. Then he started walking. The Firebird was empty, and the next car, and the next. Each car he passed looked like the one before it, which seemed crazy until he realized that it must be the work of the light. It cast an even, eerie tan over the baked metal tops, like orange sunlight through air thick with suspended particles. Even the windshields appeared to be filmed over with a thin layer of settled dust. It made him think of country roads, sundowns. He walked on. He heard his footsteps echo with surprising clarity, resounding down the staggered line of parked vehicles. Finally, it dawned on him, and now he knew how tired he really was, that the cars must actually have people in them, sleeping people. Of course. Well, hell, he thought, watching his step. I wouldn't want to wake anyone, the poor devils. Besides the sound of his footsteps, there was only the distant swish of an occasional, very occasional car on the highway. From here, even that was only a distant hush, growing and then subsiding like waves on a nearby shore. All right, y'all. Just want to check the chat. I'm trying to be safe this time. He reached the end of the line and then turned back. Out of the corner of his eye, he saw, or he thought he saw, a movement by the building. It would be Evie shuffling back. He heard the car door slam. He recalled something he had seen in one of the tourist towns in New Mexico, circling the park. In Dow. That was where they had been. He had glimpsed an ageless Indian wrapped in typical blanket ducking out of sight into the doorway of a gift shop. With the blanket over his head that way, the Indian had somehow resembled an Arab, or so it had seemed to him at the time. He heard another car door slam. That was the same day. Was it only last week? That she had noticed the locals driving with their headlights on, in honor of something or other, some regional election, perhaps. My face speaks for itself, drawled Herman J. Fascio Trujillo, candidate for sheriff. She had insisted at first that it must be a funeral procession, though for whom she could not guess. McClay came to the car, stretched one last time, and crawled back in. Evie was bundled safely again in the back seat. He lit a quick cigarette, expecting to hear her voice any second complaining, demanding that he roll down the window, at least, and so forth. But as it turned out, he was able to sit undisturbed, and he smoked it down to almost the filter. Paget, Blue Water, Thoreau, he blinked. Clagatoe, Joseph City, Ashfork, he blinked, and he tried to focus his eyes from the taillights a half a mile ahead to the bug-splattered glass and then back again. Petrified Forest National Park. He blinked, refocusing, but it did no good. A twitch started on the side of his face, close by the corner of his eye. Rehoboth. He strained at a road sign. The names and mileage, but instead a seemingly endless list of past and future stops and detours shimmered before his mind's eye. I've had it, he thought. Now, suddenly, it was catching up with him. The hours of repressed fatigue. He felt a rushing out of something from his chest. No way to make that motel. Hell, I can't even remember the name of it now. Check the book, but it doesn't matter. The eyes. I can't control my own eyes anymore. He had already begun to hallucinate things like tree trunks and cows and Mack trucks speeding towards him when he was on the highway. The cow had been straddling the broken line. In the last few minutes, its lowing, deep and regular, had become almost inviting. Well, he could try for any motel, whatever turned up next. But how much farther would that be? He ground his teeth together, feeling the pulsing at his temples. He struggled to remember the last sign. The next town might be a mile, 5 miles, 50. Think, he said. He thought it. He didn't know which. If he could pull over right now, lie down for a few minutes. He seemed to see clear ground ahead. No rocks, no ditch, the shoulder just ahead. Without thinking, he dropped into neutral and coasted, aiming for it. The car glided to a stop. God, he thought. He forced himself to turn, reach into the back seat. The lid to the chest was already off. He dipped his fingers into the ice, retrieved 2 half-melted cubes, lifted them into the front seat, began rubbing them over his forehead. He let his eyes close, seeing dull lights fire as he daubed at the lids. The rest of his face, the forehead again. As he slipped the ice into his mouth and chewed, it broke apart as easily as snow. He took a deep breath. He opened his eyes again. At that moment, a huge tanker roared past, slamming an aftershock of air into the side of the car. The car rocked like a boat at sea. No, it was no good. So he could always turn back, couldn't he? And why not? The rest area was only 20-25 minutes behind him. Was that all? He could pull out, hang a U-turn, and turn back, just like that. And then sleep. It would be safer there. With luck, Evie wouldn't even know. An hour's rest, maybe 2, that was all he would need. Unless there was another rest area ahead. But how soon? He knew that the second wind he felt now wouldn't last. Not for more than a few minutes. No, it wasn't worth the chance. He glanced in the rearview mirror. Evie was still down, a lumpen mound of blanket and hair. Above her body, beyond the rear window, the raised headlights of another monstrous truck closing ground fast. He made the decision. He slid into first and swung out in a wide arc well ahead of the blast of the truck and worked up to the 4th gear. He was thinking about the warm, friendly lights he had left behind. He angled in next to the Firebird and cut the lights. He started to reach for a pillow from the back, but why bother? It would probably wake Evie anyway. He wadded up his jacket, jammed it against the passenger armrest, and he laid down. First, he crossed his arms over his chest, then behind his head. Then he gripped his hands between his knees. Then he was on his back again, his hands at his side, his feet cramped against the opposite door. His eyes were wide open. He lay there watching, chain lightning flash on the horizon. Finally, he let out a breath that sounded like all the breaths he had ever taken, going out at once, and he drew himself up. He got out, walked over to the restroom. Inside, white tiles and bare lights. His eyes felt raw, peeled, finished. He washed his hands, but not his face. That would only make sleep more difficult. Outside again, feeling desperately out of sync, he listened to his shoes falling hollowly on the cement. Next week, we gotta get organized, he said this. He was sure, because he heard his voice coming back to him, though, with a peculiar empty resonance. Well, this time tomorrow night he would be home, as unlikely as that seemed now. He stopped, he bent for a drink from the water fountain, but the footsteps did not stop. Now wait, he thought, I'm pretty far gone, but he swallowed, his ears popping. The footsteps stopped. Hell, he thought, I've been pushing too hard. No, it was my fault, my plan this time. Drive nights, sleep days, just so, as long as you can sleep. Easy, take it easy. He started walking again, around the corner and back to the lot. At the corner, he thought he saw something move at the edge of his vision. He turned quickly to the right, in time for a fleeting glimpse of someone, hurrying out of sight into the shadows. Well, the other side of the building housed the women's restroom. Maybe it was Evie. He glanced toward the car, but it was blocked from view. He walked on. Now the parking area resembled an oasis lit by firelight, or a western camp, the car rimming the lot on 3 sides in a manner of wagons gathered against the night. Strength in numbers, he thought. Again, each car he passed looked at first like every other. It was the flat light, of course. And of course, they were the same cars he had seen a half hour ago, and the light still gave them a dusty, abandoned look. He touched a fender. It was dusty. But why shouldn't it be? His own car had probably taken on quite a layer of grime after so long on these roads. He touched the next car, and the next. Each was so dirty that he could have carved his name without scratching the paint. He had an image of himself passing this way again, God forbid, a year from now, say, finding the same cars parked here, the same ones. What if, he wondered tiredly, what if some of these cars had been abandoned, overheated, exploded, broken down one fine midday, left here by owners who simply never returned? Who would ever know? Did the highway patrol, did anyone bother to check? Would an automobile be preserved here for months, even years by the elements, like a snakeskin shed beside the highway? It was a thought, anyway. His head was buzzing. He leaned back and inhaled deeply as he could at this altitude. But he did hear something. A faint tapping. It reminded him of running feet until he noticed the lamp overhead. There were hundreds of moths beating against the high fixture, their soft bodies tapping as they struck and circled and returned again and again to the lens. The light made their wings translucent. He took another deep breath and went on to his car. He could hear it ticking, cooling down before he got there. Idly, he rested a hand on the hood. Warm, of course. The tires? He touched the left front. It was taut, hot as a loaf from the oven. When he took his hand away, the color of the rubber came off on his palm like burned skin. He reached for the door handle. A moth fluttered down onto the fender. He flicked it off, his finger leaving a streak on the enamel. He looked closer, and he saw a wavy, mottled pattern covering the unwashed car, and then he remembered. The rain. Yesterday afternoon. The rain had left blotches in the dust, marking the finish as if with dirty fingerprints. He glanced over at the next car. It too had the imprint of dried raindrops, but close up, he saw that the marks were superimposed in layers over and over again. The Firebird had been through a great many rains. He touched the hood. Cold. He removed his hand, and a dead moth clung to his thumb. He tried to brush it off the hood, but other moth bodies stuck in its place. Then he saw countless shriveled, mummified moths pasted over the hood and the top, like peeling chips of paint. His fingers were coated with the powder from their wings. He looked up. High above, backed by banks of rolling cumulus clouds, the swarm of moths vibrated about the bright protective light. So the Firebird had been here a very long time. He wanted to forget it, to let it go. He wanted to get back in the car. He wanted to lie down, lock it out, everything. He wanted to go to sleep and wake up in Los Angeles. He couldn't. He inched around the Firebird until he was facing the line of cars. He hesitated a beat. Then he started moving. LeSabre, Cougar, Chevy van, Corvair, Ford, Mustang, and every single one was overlaid with grit. He paused by the Mustang. Once, how long ago? It had been a luminous candy apple red, probably belonged to a teenager. Now, the windshield was opaque, the body dulled to a peculiar shade he could not quite place. Feeling like a voyeur at a drive-in movie theater, McClay crept to the driver's window. Dimly, he perceived two large outlines in the front seat. He raised his hand. Wait. What if there were two people sitting there on the other side of the window watching him? He put it out of his mind. Using 3 fingers, he cut a swath through the scum on the glass and pressed close. The shapes were there, 2 headrests. He started to pull away, and he happened to glance into the back seat. He saw a long, uneven form. A leg, back of a thigh, blonde hair, streaked with shadows, the collar of a coat, and delicate, silvery spiderwebs spun between the hair and collar. He jumped back. His leg struck the old Ford. He spun around, his arms straight. The blood was pounding in his ears. He rubbed out a spot on the window of the Ford and scanned the inside. The figure of a man slumped on the front seat. The man's head lay on a jacket. No, it wasn't a jacket. It was a large, formless stain. In the filtered light, McClay could see that it had dried to a dark brown. It came from the man's mouth. No, not from the mouth. The throat had a long, thin slash across it, reaching nearly to the ear. He stood there stiffly, his back almost arched, his eyes jerking, trying not to close. The even light reflecting thinly from each windshield, the Corvair, the van, the Cougar, the LeSabre, the suggestion of a shape within each one. The pulse in his ears muffled and finally blotted out the distant gearing of a truck up on the highway, the death rattle of the moths against the seductive lights. He reeled. He seemed to be hearing again, the breaking open of doors and the scurrying of padded feet across paved spaces. He remembered the first time. He remembered the sound of the second door slamming in a place where no new car but his own had arrived. Or had it been the door of his car slamming a second time after Evie had gotten back in? If so, how? Why? And there had been the sight of something moving, trying to slip away. And for some reason now he remembered the Indian in the tourist town slipping out of sight in the doorway of that gift shop. He held his eyelids down until he saw the shop again. The window full of kachinas and tin gods and tapestries woven in a secret language. At last he remembered clearly. The Indian had not been entering the store, he had been stealing away. Maclay did not yet understand what it meant, but he opened his eyes, as if for the first time in centuries, and began to run towards his car. If I could only catch my goddamn breath, he thought. He tried to hold on. He tried not to think of her, of what might have happened the first time, of what he may have been carrying in the back seat ever since. He had to find out. He fought his way back to the car against a rising tide of fear he could not stem. He told himself to think of other things, of things he knew he could control. Mileages and motel bills and time zones and weather reports and spare tires and flares and tubeless repair tools, hydraulic jack and Windex and paper towels and tire iron and socket wrench and waffle cushion and traveler's checks and credit cards and dop kit, toothbrush and paste, deodorant, shaver, safety blade, brushless cream and sunglasses, sight savers and tear gas pen and fiber tip pens and portable radio and alkaline batteries and fire extinguisher and desert water bag and tire gauge and motor oil and his money belt with identification sealed in plastic. In the back of his car, under the quilt, nothing moved. Not even when he finally lost his control and his mind in a thick, warm scream. And that is It Only Comes Out at Night by Dennis Etchison. What do we think of that one, y'all? I'm going to pause the music here and let me know this little break in between stories. Let me know how the audio sounded with that one. Is the music too loud? You know, we're trying to figure this out here, you know. Trying to make it so that it's better and better each time. So definitely let me know how it sounded. Gotta have to catch this one after work. Well, it's good to have you here, bro. Called the Cougar the bitch splitter and the LeSabre the tank. I had a Cougar and a LeSabre. Nice, nice. Rolling through. This story is good so far. Really plays on the sleep paranoia. Yeah, I read it. You know, like I said, I opened up the book and I had that bookmark there, and I'm like, oh, okay, I marked the story. I must have liked it. So I reread it the other day, and I was like, oh, that was cool, dude. I just like the vibe of that. Very, very cool. Very creepy vibe to it. I thought it was good. What's going on, Screwed Up Nevsky? Good to see you. Good to see you, Mojo. Good to see you, everybody. Hallucinations of tree trunks. I know about that. Yeah. Yeah, never. I've never done that. I've never driven 16, 17 hours in a row. I've never done that. Why did you call your Cougar that slow? But yeah, I would like to know too. Great story. 7.8 out of 10. Yeah, for sure. It definitely, the ending is sort of like, I don't know. You know, I like how it ends. It doesn't really explain anything. Obviously, he screams. So, you know, when I first read this the other day, as soon as he left to the rest stop, you know, the door closes. It closes again. He drives off. Instantly, I'm like, he's got a monster in the back seat, you know? I'm like, something killed Evie in the bathroom, climbed into his car, and now he's just driving along. Because it says, like, you know, he sits there, he smokes the cigarette, and Evie would normally complain about it. And he's like, I was able to smoke the whole thing in peace. Hell yeah. And then he goes driving. And I'm sorry, but that's a bad boyfriend, bad husband alert here. Like, you don't even know. Like, you just see a clump of hair in the back seat. You're in the middle of the desert. Your wife just went into the bathroom. You're not going to, like, make sure she's in the car. At the same time, I guess, like, who else would be in the car? You know, you weren't, but I don't know. I feel like you should know, you know. It's like I can tell who's walking near me just by the sound of their footsteps. You know, it's like if you live with people, it's like you can tell who's walking just by like small little context clues. Like you don't really need I just don't see how a monster could replace Evie. So the first thing I thought was, yeah, a monster's in the back seat. It's not Evie, or it's Evie's dead body or something. And then as the story gets on, I'm like, I started to think, no, I don't think it's going to go that way. That's too predictable. And I like how at the end it doesn't tell you. It doesn't tell you whether it's Evie's dead body in the car, whether it's a monster in the car. All it tells you is that he screams at what he sees. And so I don't know. I thought that was a pretty well done ending to the story. I liked it. So moving on. Like I said, we got our usual radio stuff, and I know everybody loves the radio things, but I do have a couple very, very short stories. The first one after that one is Mimic, which any of you guys who have seen the Guillermo del Toro film Mimic, based on this short story, it's only a 4-page story. K Ram says, is it both? I mean, I guess it could be. It could be Evie's dead body and a monster clutched up on it like a freaking parasite. You got to make up your own ending for this. It could be a dream for all we know. Yeah, he could be hallucinating the whole thing. He could have been high on trucker pills. It was 1976. It could have been freaking amphetamines he bought at the gas station. Who knows? So Guillermo del Toro, one of his first films was an adaptation of this story called Mimic. And so if you've seen that movie, it's a bit of a spoiler alert. But the thing about that movie is that it's like an action. It's like this weird '90s action movie. It's all right. I have it on DVD. I've watched it maybe once or twice. And I got it after reading this story in this book because the story's so cool. Like the actual story, it's short, it's sweet, and I remember it being cool. I haven't read it again 13 years, so I have no idea if it's still good to me. So we're going to read it together and sort of see what we all think about it. But this was a story that I remember consistently going back to this book for to show friends and stuff and be like, yo, check this story out. So I'm curious to see if it holds up. I'm going to switch the banner here. Let's bring this down. Let's edit it. So we are reading Mimic. Thank you all so much for being here. Really appreciate you guys' support, you guys hanging out. And if you weren't here in the beginning, we were talking about Jay Dyer's recent debate with Tim Gordon, and I think we're going to do a debate review stream with that. It was the best I've seen Jay, certainly in a long time, and over all the years seeing the debates, I thought he was at the top of his game. So I think I would like to do a stream like that coming up soon. All right, page 280. Mimic by, who is this by here? Donald A. Walheim. And we are reading out of the book The Weird, edited by Jeff and Ann Vandermeer. A collection of short stories, all in the genre of weird fiction a la H.P. Lovecraft. This story looks like it was published, let's see, Mimic, 1943, 1945, sometime around then. Let's see. Donald Walheim. And I'm just going to say 1940. I'm just going to say 1943. That's the first date that pops up, and I'll change it if I have to. All right. Debate review, yes. I know. It's kind of ironic, right? Because, like, I'm not a debater, I'm friends with a lot of these debaters. I'm not an apologist. I'm not. But for some reason, the most popular videos I do on this channel are debate reviews. So I think people like that, like, I'm a slow boy. And, like, 9 times out of 10, if you're in those live chats, like, most of the people are like us, They're not apologists. They're not, deep theological experts. They're, like, average people who are encountering these debates. And so I think maybe that's why those are so popular. I don't get it. Every time I do a debate review, I'm like, I've been a mod for Jay for a while. I've watched so many debates, and so everything I know about apologetics debate is all through osmosis, just from being around these people like Andy and Jay and Jim Bob and DPH. But it's like I have no actual expertise of my own. Like just today, after liturgy, I'm sitting there at coffee hour. I'm talking with my godfather, Reader Paul. And if you guys know Bottom of the Rabbit Hole, dude is super knowledgeable, super, intelligent. And we'll be sitting there talking. We were talking about the debate. And he's like giving his critique on the Roman Catholic, position. And I'm like trying to give my critique. And as soon as I get like 5 seconds in, I just see Paul's eyes glaze over. It's like... and I just started dying thinking about that. I'm like trying to get out, and you just see the moment where he's like, this kid doesn't know what he's talking about. Oh boy. Yeah, it was funny. It was good stuff. Reader Paul is great. He is, dude. He's my favorite. Definitely, we like to hear the average commentary. You should just react to the clips. There are already tons of them out. I prefer to do the full debate review. I think it's fun, and it's a good springboard for talking, and certainly that debate was good. I mean, I could react to the clips. I don't know. That might be a good idea. Might be good. But like I said, I mean, every time I do a debate review, it breaks 1,000 views. So I mean, clearly something is liked about those, and so I don't. And the thing is, I'm not even a big fan of debate. Like debate is what helped me get into the church. But it's like once you're in the church, then something like say Father Spirit and Bailey is like a million times more like valuable to a practicing Orthodox Christian than watching another debate with a Muslim or a Roman Catholic. You know what I mean? You could review it, but it's over 4. I know. I was just watching it. I was just watching it today. I spent like all day watching it. I would have to kick it up into like 2 times speed at some point. And also, just like in the past when we've done the debate reviews, I don't cover the whole thing. It's like that debate is 3 parts. You got the papacy, the filioque, and the I think what was the first one? Absolute divine simplicity. The point is, it's the 3 parts of the debate. I could cover that. I'm not going to cover all the super chat crap at the end. So at the end of the day, it's probably going to end up being like a 3-hour type debate, which means it's going to end up being like a 4.5-hour stream if I do it. We'll see. We'll see. I'm not 100% on it, but I'm like pretty sure I'm going to do it. The spooky stories are refreshing. I'm glad you like it, K-Ram. Like I've said every time I do these shows, I know it's not the most popular thing. I like it. Hopefully you guys like it, and hopefully as we do it more and more, I'll get better at it. It's like the last show, the mic was too close. Like I'm still trying to figure everything out. So could y'all let me know in the chat? Like I don't want to have to mute my mic and listen to it on the phone. Was the music a good level? Does it need to be turned down? It's okay if it's too low. It's just not okay if it's too high. If you're struggling to hear my voice over the music, that's a problem. So I'm still trying to like nail down exactly the levels. So let me know if you thought the music was too loud. Okay, Mimic, Donald A. Walheim. Let's go. Donald Walheim, 1914 to 1990, was an American science fiction writer as well as an influential editor and publisher. Eventually inducted into the Science Fiction Hall of Fame, Walheim edited the first science fiction reprint anthology, The Pocket Book of Science Fiction, 1943, and the first collection of science fiction novels, The Portable Novels of Science, 1945. A longtime influence on U.S. science fiction fandom, Walheim also founded the first major publishing house devoted to science fiction and fantasy, DAW Books, which is now run by his daughter. The weird tale Mimic had been widely reprinted and was made into a feature film in 1997. It evokes other stories in this volume by Stephen Utley and William Gibson and John Shirley. And that was the blurb. Slowboy says the music was a good level. Okay, sweet. Let's get that music back up. I'm going to take it all the way back to the beginning so the video doesn't end. And let's get started with Mimic. It is less than 500 years since an entire half of the world was discovered. It is less than 200 years since the discovery of the last continent. The sciences of chemistry and physics go back scarcely 1 century. The science of aviation goes back 40 years. The science of atomics is just being born. And yet we think we know a lot. We know little or nothing. Some of the most startling things are unknown to us, and when they are discovered, they may shock us to the bone. We search for secrets in the far islands of the Pacific and among the ice fields of the frozen north, while under our very noses, rubbing shoulders with us every day, there may walk the undiscovered. It is a curious fact of nature. That which is in plain view is often the best hidden. I have always known of the man in the black cloak. Since I was a child, he has always lived on my street, and his eccentricities are so familiar that they go unmentioned except among the casual visitor. Here, in the heart of the largest city in the world, in swarming New York, the eccentric and odd may flourish unhindered. As children, we had hilarious fun jeering at the man in black when he displayed his fear of women. We watched in our evil, childish way for those moments. We tried to get him to show anger, but he ignored us completely. Soon we paid him no further heed, even as our parents did. We saw him only twice a day. Once in the early morning, when we would see his 6-foot figure come out of the grimy dark hallway of the tenement at the end of the street and stride down toward the elevated to work. Again when he came back at night. He was always dressed in a long black cloak that came to his ankles, and he wore a wide-brimmed black hat down far over his face. He was a sight from some weird story out of the old lands, but he harmed nobody and paid attention to nobody. Nobody except perhaps women. When a woman crossed his path, he would stop in his stride and come to a dead halt. We could see that he closed his eyes until she had passed. Then he would snap those wide, watery blue eyes open and march on as if nothing had happened. He was never known to speak to a woman. He would buy some groceries maybe once a week at Antonio's, but only when there were no other patrons there. Antonio said once that he never talked. He just pointed at things he wanted and paid for them in bills that he pulled out of a pocket somewhere under his cloak. Antonio did not like him, but he never had any trouble from him either. Now that I think of it, nobody ever did have any trouble with him. We got used to him. We grew up on the street, saw him occasionally when he came home and went back into the dark hallway of the house he lived in. He never had visitors, never spoke to anyone, and he had once built something in his room out of metal. He had once, years ago, hauled up some long, flat metal sheets of tin or iron, and they had heard a lot of hammering and banging in his room for several days. But that had stopped, and that was all there was to say of that story. Where he worked, I don't know. Never found out. He had money, for he was reputed to pay his rent regularly when the janitor asked for it. Well, people like that inhabit big cities, and nobody knows the story of their lives until they're all over, or until something strange happens. I grew up, went to college, I studied. Finally, I got a job assisting a museum curator. I spent my days mounting beetles and classifying exhibits of stuffed animals and preserved plants and hundreds of insects from all over. Nature is a strange thing, I learned. You learn that very clearly when you work in a museum. You realize how nature uses the art of camouflage. There are twig insects that look exactly like a leaf or a branch of a tree, exactly. Nature is strange and perfect that way. There is a moth in Central America that looks just like a wasp. It even has a fake stinger made out of hair, which it twists and curls just like the wasp stinger. It has the same colorings, and even though its body is soft and it's not armored like a wasp, it is colored to appear shiny and armored. It even flies in the daytime when wasps do, and not at night like all other moths. It moves like a wasp. It knows somehow that it is helpless and that it can survive only by pretending to be as deadly to other insects as wasps are. I learned about army ants and their strange imitators. Army ants travel in huge columns of thousands and hundreds of thousands. They move along in a flowing stream several yards across, and they eat everything in their path. Everything in the jungle is afraid of them. Wasps, bees, snakes, other ants, birds, lizards, beetles, even men run away or get eaten. But in the midst of the army ants, there also travel many other creatures that aren't ants at all, and that the army ants would kill if they knew of them. But they don't know of them. because these other creatures are disguised. Some of them are beetles that look like ants. They have false markings, like ant thoraxes, and they run along in imitation of ant speed. There's even one that is so long, it is marked like 3 ants in a single file. It moves so fast, the real ants never give it a second glance. There are these weak caterpillars that look like big armored beetles. There are all sorts of things that look like dangerous animals. Animals that are the killers and superior fighters of their groups. They have no enemies. The army ants and the wasps, the sharks, the hawk, the felines. So there are a host of weak things that try to hide among them, to mimic them. And man is the greatest killer, the greatest hunter of them all. The whole world of nature knows man for the irresistible master. The roar of his gun, the cunning of his trap, the strength, the agility of his arm, place all else beneath him. Should man then be treated by nature differently from the other dominants, the army ants, the wasps? It was, as often happens to be the case, sheer luck that I happened to be on the street at the dawning hour when the janitor came running out of the tenement on my street shouting for help. I've been working all night mounting new exhibits. The policeman on the beat and I were the only people besides the janitor to see the thing that we found in the 2 dingy rooms occupied by the stranger in the black cloak. The janitor explained, as the officer and I dashed up the narrow, rickety stairs, that he had been awakened by the sound of heavy thuds and shrill screams in the stranger's room. He had gone out in the hallway to listen. When we got there, the place was silent. A faint light shone from under the doorway. The policeman knocked. There was no answer. He put his ear to the door, and so did I. We heard a faint rustling, continuous, slow rustling, as of a breeze blowing paper. The cop knocked again, but there was still no response. Then, together, we threw our weight at the door. 2 hard blows and the rotten old lock gave way. We burst in. The room was filthy. The floor covered with scraps of torn paper, bits of detritus and garbage. The room was unfurnished, which I thought was odd. In the corner, there stood a metal box, about 4 feet square. A tight box, held together with screws and ropes. It had a lid opening at the top, which was down and fastened with a sort of wax seal. The stranger of the black cloak lay in the middle of the floor dead. He was still wearing the cloak. The big slouch hat was lying on the floor some distance away. From the inside of the box, the faint rustling was coming. We turned over the stranger, took the cloak off. For several instants, we saw nothing amiss, and then, gradually, horribly, we became aware of some things that were wrong. His hair was short and curly brown. It stood straight up in its inch-long length. His eyes were open, staring. I noticed first that he had no eyebrows, only a curious dark line in the flesh over each eye. It was then I realized that he had no nose. But no one had ever noticed that before. His skin was oddly mottled where the nose should have been. There were dark shadowings that made the appearance of a nose if you only just glanced at him, like the work of a skillful artist in a painting. His mouth was as it should be and slightly open, but he had no teeth. His head perched upon a thin neck. The suit was not a suit. It was a part of him. It was his body. What we thought was a coat was a huge black wing sheath like a beetle has. He had a thorax like an insect, and only the wing sheath covered it, and you couldn't notice it when he wore the cloak. The body bulged out below, tapering off into 2 long, thin hind legs. His arms came out from under the top of the coat. He had a tiny secondary pair of arms folded tightly across his chest. There was a sharp, round hole, newly pierced in his chest, just above the arms, still oozing a watery liquid. The janitor fled, gibbering. The officer was pale, but standing by his duty. I heard him muttering under his breath an endless stream of Hail Marys over and over again. The lower thorax, the abdomen, was very long and insect-like. It was crumpled up now like the wreckage of an airplane fuselage. I recalled the appearance of a female wasp that had just laid eggs. Her thorax had that empty appearance. The sight was a shock, such as leaves one in full control. The mind rejects it, and it is only an afterthought that one can feel the dim shudder of horror. The rustling was still coming from the box. I motioned to the white-faced cop, and we went over and stood before it. He took the nightstick and he knocked away the waxen seal, and then we heaved and pulled the lid open. A wave of noxious vapor assailed us. We staggered back as suddenly as a stream of flying things shot out of the huge iron container. The window was open, and straight out into the first glow of dawn they flew. There must have been dozens of them. They were about 2 or 3 inches long, and they flew on wide, gauzy beetle wings. They looked like little men, strangely terrifying as they flew, clad in their black suits with their expressionless faces and their dots of watery blue eyes. And then they flew out on transparent wings that came from under their black beetle cloaks. I ran to the window, fascinated, almost hypnotized. The horror of it had not reached my mind at once. Afterwards, I have had spasms of numbing terror as my mind tries to put the things together. The whole business was so utterly unexpected. We knew of army ants and their imitators, yet it never occurred to us that we too were army ants of a sort. We knew of stick insects, and it never occurred to us that there might be others that disguise themselves to fool not other animals, but the supreme animal himself, man. We found some bones in the bottom of that iron case afterwards. We couldn't identify them. Perhaps we did not try very hard. They might have been human. I suppose the stranger of the black cloak did not fear women so much as it distrusted them. Women notice men, perhaps more closely than other men do. Women might become suspicious sooner of the inhumanity, the deception, and then there might perhaps have been some touch of instinctive feminine jealousy. The stranger was disguised as a man, but its sex was surely female. The things in the box were its young. But it's the other thing I saw when I ran to the window that has shaken me the most. The policeman did not see it. Nobody else saw it but me. And I only for an instant. Nature practices deceptions in every angle. Evolution will create a being for any niche that it can be found, no matter how unlikely. When I went to the window, I saw the small cloud of flying things rising up into the sky and sailing away into the purple distance. The dawn was breaking, and the first rays of the sun were just striking over the housetops. Shaken, I looked away from that 4th-floor tenement room over the roofs of lower buildings. Chimneys and walls and empty clotheslines made the scenery over which the tiny mass of horror passed. And then I saw a chimney, not 30 feet away on the next roof. It was squat, it was red brick, and it had 2 black pipe ends flush with its top. I saw it suddenly vibrate oddly, and I saw its red brick surface seem to peel away, and the black pipe openings turned suddenly white. I saw 2 big eyes staring into the sky. A great bat-winged thing detached itself silently from the surface of the real chimney and darted after the cloud of flying insects. I watched until all had lost themselves in the sky. And that is Mimic by Donald Walheim. What did we think of that? What did we think of that? You know, forgetting about the gay evolution talk. All right, it was the 1940s. We can give them a break on that one. They really thought they had something there. So God bless them. Bless their hearts. What do we think of Mimic by Donald Walheim, y'all? Let's hear it. Let's hear it in the chat. Is the dinosaur gay or is it not? I like that story. I always thought that was a cool idea. I love these short stories that present an idea and they're just creepy. You know, they're just like a creepy idea. I love that kind of thing. And of course, too, you got that nice little twist at the end where you're like, okay, so, you know, the whole story is about this bug man and the whole mimicry notion, the whole concept of it. And at the very end, it's like the whole world is full of these things. Like literally, a chimney was a bug. You know, a chimney was like a pterodactyl that looks like a chimney. It just flies off. It's like, you know, you think it's just going to end with the creatures mimicking humans, but then it's actually like there's creatures mimicking buildings and everything. Like, that's crazy, dude. Smoking in the house is crazy. I'm on the porch, dude. I'm on the porch. This ain't in the house. This is on the porch. This is the open air. This is why we call it a poach stream, because we porch stream. And welcome to the porch stream. What do we think? What do we think of Mimic? Mothman. Yeah, exactly. Very Mothman-esque. Mothman adjacent. We have one more bedtime story today, and then we will go on into our radio show. Our final story is from Ray Bradbury. Didn't they make a video game about this concept? I mean, there's definitely a lot of video games where you kill bugs. They made a movie. Guillermo del Toro made a movie called Mimic based on this story. But think of how weird that is. That is a 4-page story that they made an entire feature film out of. You just know that's a recipe for disaster, and it was. I mean, you think of the Guillermo del Toro films, like, and I don't remember if it was just produced by him or if it was directed. I'm pretty sure it was directed by him. I could be mistaken. But you think of, like, Pan's Labyrinth, Chronos, like, all of these, like, incredible movies that Guillermo has made over the years, and Mimic is just, it don't live up, dude. It does not live up at all. Not even a little bit. I don't know. I just, that kind of a story appeals to me. I really like the short, sweet, creepy little story. And for me, I really think insects are a good subject for horror. You know, I love spiders, but insects in general are just gross. They're just gross, creeping things, and it's pretty messed up. No, it's a guy in space who is surrounded by aliens who are mimicking objects around you. Is that Dead Space? That could be Dead Space, but I'm not exactly sure. It could be. I never played Dead Space all the way through. But I wouldn't be shocked. I would not be surprised if there was a video game either directly inspired or like adapting the story, the concept, or just inspired by it. And it is also one of those kinds of ideas where you could see like multiple people having the same kind of concept, you know. So, the next story was literally the very next story in the collection, and it is The Crowd by Ray Bradbury, which these are fun because after we read these, we can always go and watch the episodes based on them. And this one I remember being a good episode of the Bradbury TV show. I've never read this, never read the actual story, or if I have, it was back in the day when I was going through all of Bradbury's books and reading through, so I don't remember reading this. So we can check it out together. Let's see, how long is it? Yeah, it's like 4 pages. All right. Thank you all so much for being here. Please like and share. Let me just make sure I didn't skip any super chats. What? Thanks for hanging. Sorry, I'm just texting someone. All right. Let's see. Going through. All right, we good. We all caught up. All right. So we got The Crowd by Ray Bradbury. Let's get the music back going. I was thinking about using that AI app to generate music and see if it could generate some ambient tracks for us and see like if it's better than this crap that we keep finding on YouTube. Ray Bradbury, Something Wicked This Way Comes is excellent, dude. Bradbury's one of my favorite authors. I have a bunch of his books, you know, a bunch of the collections of short stories, his novels. Like, there was a period of my life where I was like all about Bradbury, so I got like a stack of his books like this tall. So that's why I'm saying I'm sure I read The Crowd at some point, but I don't remember. And thank you, Slowboy, for posting the super chat links in the chat. I've been all discombobulated since we started the stream, and I never even posted the links. So let me hurry up and pin the super chat links because that's kind of important. And like I said, the last stream, all of the super chats are basically just going away, and I'm not touching them. And those are trying to save up for like a laptop in the future because it's going to take me a while to save up for it. So that is the goal that the super chats are going towards. So thank you everybody who does that. Let me just pin this real quick. All right. The Crowd. Oh yes, let's edit the banner too. Let's edit this banner up. And I think you guys are really gonna like the radio episode. I really liked it. When I was listening to it. It's not very often that I'll be sitting there on my own listening to these radio shows and be like, Wow, that was really freaking good, dude. Like, enough to want to show it to you guys. And like I said, I don't remember much about it. I just remember thinking that, so hopefully it's good. Okay, Reading the Crowd by Ray Bradbury. 1943. All right. 1943. Prey. Oh, I know that game. Yes, Prey. I never played it, so that's probably why I couldn't think of it. But I do know of it. It's on PC Game Pass. I've seen the cover all the time. I've looked at the little ads for it and stuff. Is it any good? Yeah, let me know if it's any good. Ray Bradbury, 1920, is an American fantasy, horror, science fiction, and mystery writer, best known for his novel Fahrenheit 451, published 1953. And for the science fiction stories published as The Martian Chronicles in 1950, The Illustrated Man 1951. Bradbury has become one of the most celebrated writers of speculative fiction, with more than 20 films based on his work. Although readers may think of Bradbury as writing short stories mostly in a fantastical or even whimsical vein, the core of his work is dark and disturbing, as exemplified by The Crowd 1943. The story's stripped-down approach and sense of modern anxiety encapsulates one of the ways in which Bradbury updated the weird tale. Alright. Let me just light up a cigarette because I rarely, while I'm reading, get a chance to. So let's just do that now. What up, EPL? Oh, snap. We got Hello Listener up in the house. What's going on, Tony? Hey, Tony. What's going on, dude? We just finished reading Mimic by Donald Walheim. It Only Comes Out at Night by Dennis Etchison. Now we are reading The Crowd by Ray Bradbury, and then we are kicking it out with our usual radio dramas from the 1970s. So let's get it. Mr. Spallner put his hands over his face. There was the feeling of movement in space, the beautifully tortured scream, the impact and tumbling of the car with wall through wall, over and down like a toy, and him hurled out of it, and then silence. The crowd came running. Faintly where he lay, he heard them running. He could tell their ages and their sizes by the sound of their numerous feet over the summer grass and on the lined pavement and over the asphalt street, and picking through the cluttered bricks to where his car hung half into the night sky, still spinning its wheels in senseless centrifuge. Where the crowd came from, he didn't know. He struggled to remain aware, and then the crowd's faces hemmed in upon him, hung over him like the large growing leaves of a downbent tree. They were a ring of shifting, compressing, changing faces over him, looking down, reading the time of his life or death by his face, making his face into a moon dial where the moon cast a shadow from his nose out upon his cheek to tell the time of breathing or not breathing any more after. How swiftly a crowd comes, he thought, like the iris of an eye compressing in, out of nowhere. A siren, a police voice, movement, blood trickling from his lips, and he was being moved into an ambulance. Someone said, "Is he dead?" And someone else said, "No, he's not dead." And a third person said, "He won't die. He's not going to die." And he saw the faces of the crowd beyond him in the night, and he knew by their expressions that he wouldn't die. And that was strange. He saw a man's face, thin, bright, pale. The man swallowed, bit his lips, very sick. There was a small woman, too, with red hair and too much red on her cheeks and lips. A little boy with freckled face. Other faces, an old man with a wrinkled upper lip and an old woman with a mole upon her chin. They all had come from where? Houses, cars, alleys, from the immediate and the accident-shocked world. Out of alleys and out of hotels and out of streetcars, and seemingly out of nothing they came. The crowd looked at him, and he looked back at them, and he did not like them at all. There was a vast wrongness to them. Couldn't put his finger on it. They were far worse than this machine-made thing that happened to him now. The ambulance doors slammed. Through the windows, he saw the crowd looking in. That crowd that always came so fast, so strangely fast, to form a circle, to peer down, to probe, to gawk, to question, to point, to disturb, to spoil the privacy of a man's agony by their frank curiosity. The ambulance drove off. He sank back, and their faces still stared into his face, even with his eyes shut. The car wheels spun in his mind for days. One wheel, four wheels, spinning, and whirling around and around. He knew it was wrong. Something wrong with the wheels and the whole accident, and the running of feet and the curiosity. The crowd faces mixed and spun into the wild rotation of the wheels. He awoke. Sunlight, a hospital room, a hand taking his pulse. "How do you feel?" asked the doctor. The wheels faded away. Mr. Spallner looked around. "Fine, I guess." He tried to find words about the accident. "Doctor?" "Yes?" "That crowd, was it last night?" "2 days ago. You've been here since Thursday. You're all right, though. You're doing fine. Don't try and get up." "That crowd, something about wheels, too. Do accidents make people, well, a little off?" "Temporarily, sometimes." He lay staring up at the doctor. "Does it hurt your time sense?" "Panic sometimes does." "Makes a minute seem like an hour? Or maybe an hour seem like a minute?" "Yeah." "Let me tell you then." He felt the bed under him, the sunlight on his face. "You'll think I'm crazy. I was driving too fast, I know. I'm sorry now. I jumped the curb, I hit that wall. I was hurt, numb. I know, but I still remember things. Mostly, I still remember the crowd." He waited a moment, and then he decided to go on, for he suddenly knew what it was that bothered him. "The crowd got there too quickly. 30 seconds after the smash, they were all standing over me and staring at me. It's not right that they should run that fast so late at night." "You only think it was 30 seconds, said the doctor. "It was probably 3 or 4 minutes. Your senses..." "Yeah, I know. My senses. The accident. But I was conscious. I remember one thing that puts it all together and makes it funny. God, so damn funny. The wheels of my car upside down. The wheels were still spinning when the crowd got there." The doctor smiled. The man in the bed went on. "I'm positive the wheels were spinning, and spinning fast. The front wheels. Wheels don't spin very long. Friction cuts them down, and those were really spinning." "You're confused," said the doctor. "I'm not confused. That street was empty, not a soul in sight. And then the accident, and the wheels still spinning, and all those faces over me quick, in no time. And the way they looked down at me, I knew I wouldn't die." "Simple shock," said the doctor, walking away into the sunlight. They released him from the hospital 2 weeks later. He rode home in a taxi. People had come to visit him during his 2 weeks on his back, and all of them he told his story. The accident, the spinning wheels, the crowd. They had all laughed with him concerning it and passed it off. He leaned forward and tapped on the taxi window. "What's wrong?" The cabbie looked back. "Sorry, boss. This is one hell of a town to drive in. Got an accident up ahead. Want me to do a detour?" "Yes." No, wait. Go ahead. Let's take a look." The cab moved forward, honking. "Funny damn thing," said the cabbie. "Hey, you! Get that flea trap out of the way." Quieter. "Funny thing. More damn people, nosy people." Mr. Spallner looked down and watched his fingers tremble on his knee. "You noticed that too, huh?" "Sure," said the cabbie. "All the time. There's always a crowd. You'd think it was their own mother got killed." "They come running awfully fast," said the man in the back of the cab. "Same way with a fire. Or an explosion. Nobody around. Boom! Lots of people around. I don't know." "Ever see an accident? At night?" The cabbie nodded. "Sure. Don't make no difference. There's always a crowd." The wreck came into view. A body lay on the pavement. You knew there was a body, even if you couldn't see it, because of the crowd. The crowd with its back towards him as he sat in the rear of the cab with its back toward him. He opened the window and he almost started to yell, but he didn't have the nerve. If he yelled, they might turn around, and he was afraid to see their face. "I seem to have a penchant for accidents," he said in his office. It was late afternoon. His friend sat across the desk from him listening. "I got out of the hospital this morning. First thing on the way home, we detoured around a wreck." "Things run in cycles," said Morgan. "Well, let me tell you about my accident." I've heard it all. But it was funny, you must admit." "I must admit. Now how about a drink?" They talked on for half an hour or more. All the while they talked, at the back of Spallner's brain a small watch ticked, watch that never needed winding. It was the memory of a few little things, wheels and faces. At about 5:30, there was a hard-metalled noise in the street. Morgan nodded, looked out and down. What'd I tell you? Cycles. A truck and a cream-colored Cadillac. Yes? Yes. Spallner walked to the window. He was very cold, and as he stood there, he looked at his watch, the small minute hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds. People running. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. From all over, people came running. 15, 16, 17, 18 seconds. More people, more cars, more horns blowing. Curiously distant, Spallner looked upon the scene as an explosion in reverse, the fragments of the detonation sucked back to the point of impulsion. 19, 20, 21 seconds, and the crowd was there. Spallner made a gesture down at them, wordless. The crowd had gathered so fast. He saw a woman's body a moment before the crowd swallowed it up. Morgan said, "You look lousy. Here, finish your drink." I'm all right. Let me alone. I'm all right. Can't you see these people? Can you see any of them? I wish we could see them closer." Morgan cried out, "Where in hell you going?" Spallner was out the door, Morgan after him and down the stairs as rapidly as possible. "Come along and hurry." "Take it easy, you're not a well man." They walked out onto the street. Spallner pushed his way forward. He thought he saw a red-haired woman with too much red color on her cheeks and lips. "There," he turned wildly to Morgan. "Did you see her?" "See who?" "Damn it, she's gone." The crowd closed in. The crowd was all around, breathing, looking, shuffling, and mixing and mumbling, and getting in the way when he tried to shove through. Evidently, the red-haired woman had seen him coming and ran off. Saw another familiar face, a little freckled boy. But there are many freckled boys in the world, and anyway, it's no use. Before Spallner reached him, this little boy ran away, vanished amongst the people. "Is she dead?" a voice asked. "Is she dead?" "She's dying," someone else replied. "She'll be dead before the ambulance arrives. They shouldn't have moved her. They shouldn't have moved her." All the crowd faces, a familiar, unfamiliar, bending over, looking down. "Hey, mister, stop pushing. Who you shoving, buddy?" Spallner came back out, and Morgan caught a hold of him before he fell. "You damned fool, you're still sick. Why in hell did you come down here?" Morgan demanded. "I don't know. I really don't. They moved her, Morgan. Someone moved her. You should never move a traffic victim. It kills them. It kills them." "Yeah, that's the way with people. They're idiots." Spallner arranged the newspaper clippings carefully. Morgan looked at them. "What's the idea? Ever since your accident, you think every traffic scramble is a part of you. What are these?" "Clippings of motor car crack-ups and photos. Look at them." "Not at the cars," said Spallner, "but at the crowds around the cars," he pointed. "Here, compare this photo of a wreck in the Wilshire district with this one in Westwood. No resemblance. But now take this Westwood picture and align it with the one in the Westwood district 10 years ago." Again, he motioned. "This woman is in both pictures." "Coincidence. The woman happened to be there once, 1936, then she was there again, 1946. Coincidence once, maybe, but 12 times over a period of 10 years, when the accidents occurred as much as 3 miles from one another? No. Here," he dealt out a dozen photographs. "She's in all of these. Well, maybe she's perverted. She's more than that. How does she happen to be there so quickly after each accident? And why does she wear the same clothes in pictures taken over a period of a decade? I'll be damned, she does. And last of all, why was she standing over me the night of my accident 2 weeks ago?" They had a drink. Morgan went over the files. "What'd you do here? Hire a clipping service while you were in the hospital? Go back through the newspapers for you?" Spallner nodded. Morgan sipped his drink. It was getting late, and the street lights were coming on in the streets below the office. "What does this all add up to?" "I don't know," said Spallner. "Except that there's a universal law about accidents. Crowds gather. They always gather, and like you and me, people have wondered year after year why they gather so quickly and how. I know the answer. Here it is." He flung the clippings down. "It frightens me. These people, mightn't they be thrill hunters, perverted sensationalists with a carnal lust for blood and morbidity?" Spallner shrugged. Does that explain there being at all the accidents? Notice they stick to certain territories. Brentwood accident will bring out one group. A Huntington Park accident will bring out another. But there's a norm for faces. A certain percentage appear at each wreck. Morgan said, they're not all the same faces, are they? Naturally not. Accidents draw normal people, too, in the course of time. But these, I find, are always the first ones there. Well, who are they? What do they want? You keep hinting and never telling. Good Lord, you must have some idea. You scared yourself and now you got me jumping. I've tried getting to them, but someone always trips me up. I'm always too late. They slip into the crowd and they vanish. The crowd seems to offer protection to some of its members. They see me coming. Sounds like some sort of clique. They have one thing in common. They always show up together. At a fire, or an explosion, or the sidelines of a war, or at any public demonstration of this thing called death. Vultures, hyenas, or saints. I don't know which they are. I just don't know. But I'm going to the police with it. I'm going to the police with it this evening. It's gone on long enough. One of them shifted that woman's body today. They shouldn't have touched her. It killed her. He placed the clippings in a briefcase. Morgan got up and slipped into his coat. Spallner clicked his briefcase shut. Or I just happened to think, what? Maybe they wanted her dead. Well, why? Who knows? Come along. Sorry, it's late. See you tomorrow. Good luck. They went out together. Give my regards to the cops. Think they'll believe you? Oh, they'll believe me all right. Good night. Spallner took it slow driving downtown. I want to get there, he told himself, alive. He was rather shocked, but not surprised. Somehow, when the truck came rolling out of an alley straight at him, he was just congratulating himself on his keen sense of observation and talking out of what he would say to the police in his mind. When the truck smashed into his car, it wasn't really his car. That was the disheartening thing about it. In a preoccupied way, he was tossed first this way and then this way while he thought, what a shame. Morgan has gone and lent me his extra car for a few days until my other car is fixed, and now here I go again. The windshield hammered back into his face. He was forced back and forth in several lightning jerks. Then all motion stopped, and all noise stopped, and only pain filled him up. He heard their feet running and running and running. He fumbled with the car door. He fell out upon the pavement drunkenly and lay ear to the asphalt, listening to them coming. It was like a great rainstorm, with many drops, heavy and light and medium, touching the earth. He waited a few seconds and listened to their coming and their arrival. And then, weakly, expectantly, he rolled his head up and he looked, and the crowd was there. He could smell their breath, the mingled odors of many people sucking and sucking on the air a man needs to live by. They crowded and they jostled and they sucked and sucked all the air up from around his gasping face until he tried to tell them to move back. They were making him live in a vacuum. His head was bleeding very badly. He tried to move and he realized something was wrong with his spine. He hadn't felt much from the impact, but his spine was hurt. He didn't dare move. Couldn't speak. Opening his mouth, nothing came out but gagging. Someone said, "Give me a hand. We'll roll him over and we'll lift him into a more comfortable position." Spallner's brain burst apart. "No, don't move me." "We'll move him," said the voice casually. "You idiots, you'll kill me, don't." But he could not say any of this out loud. He could only think it. Hands took hold of him. They started to lift him. He cried out and nausea choked him. They straightened him out into a ramrod of agony. 2 men did it. One of them was thin, bright, pale, alert young man. The other man was very old and had a wrinkled upper lip. He had seen their faces before. A familiar voice said, "Is he dead?" Another voice, a memorable voice, responded, "No, not yet, but he will be dead before the ambulance arrives." It was all a very silly, mad plot. Like every accident, he squealed hysterically at the solid wall of faces. They were all around him, these judges and jurors with the faces he had seen before. Through his pain, he counted their faces. The freckled boy, old man with the wrinkled upper lip, red-haired, red-cheeked woman, old woman with a mole on her chin. "I know what you're here for," he thought. "You're here just as you are at all accidents, to make certain the right ones live and the right ones die. That's why you lifted me. You knew it would kill. You knew I'd live if you left me alone. And that's the way it's been since time began, when crowds gather. You murder much easier this way. Your alibi is very simple. You didn't know it was dangerous to move a hurt man. You didn't mean to hurt him. He looked at them above him, and he was curious as a man under deep water looking up at people on a bridge. Who are you? Where do you come from? And how do you get here so soon? You're the crowd that's always in the way, using up good air that a dying man's lungs are in need of, using up space he should be using to lie in alone, tramping on people to make sure they die. That's you. I know all of you. It was like a polite monologue. They said nothing. Faces, the old man, the red-haired woman. Someone picked up his briefcase. Whose is this? They asked. It's mine. It's evidence against all of you. Eyes inverted over him. Shiny eyes under tousled hair and under hats. Faces. Somewhere. A siren. The ambulance was coming. But looking at the faces, the construction, the cast, the form of faces, Spallner saw that it was too late. He read it in their faces. They knew. He tried to speak. A little bit got out. It looks like I'll be joining up with you. I guess I'll be a member of your group now. He closed his eyes, and then he waited for the coroner. And that is The Crowd by Ray Bradbury. What'd we think, y'all? What'd we think of Mr. Bradbury? You know, Bradbury kind of sucks, dude. Who's this guy, bro? Yo, honestly, I don't know. I don't know if I like the ending very much. That's a cool story, but the ending is kind of mid. It's like, I don't know. It's a little, honestly, for Bradbury, it's a little heavy on the exposition. It's like, you don't got to tell us, like, that he's joining the, you don't got to tell us he's joining the group. Like, obviously, it's kind of obvious, you know. But I do love the concept, and that's my whole thing with these things. I love these concepts that they share in the stories. Pretty sweet. Yo, what up, Jason Scholl in the house? What's going on? That was a decent short story. That was good for a 40s short. Yeah. Good call. Makes me think of Metallica 1. I think we're getting a story from the perspective of a corpse. What kind of story is this? The hoary story, John. What's up, John? Good to see you, homeboy. Air-sucking gang stalkers. Bro, literally. Literally, these mans is sucking my air. Get out. Get out, get out. All right. Story time's over. We're going to the radio show now where I can smoke and I can drink my drinks and I don't have to frickin' use my voice too much. But I hope you guys like these stories. I really enjoy all three of these stories. And eventually, once we sort of run through all of the ones I wanted to pick out, we're obviously not reading this whole book, just like select stories, the ones I want to show you guys. Eventually, I'll probably switch to on the screen so y'all can read along. 6.2, the ending killed the score. Yeah, agreed. That's kind of where I'm at, too. I really like the story. Ending was meh. Slowboy buys shots in bulk from Dr. Crispy. Oh, hell yeah. All right, let's get to the radio show for tonight. Let me just share the screen real quick. Clontarf, what's up, homeboy, dude? Good to see you. CBS Radio Mystery Theater. Do I still have that freaking is the dinosaur gay poll open? Okay, we got to end this poll. 83% says the dinosaur's gay. 17% says it's not. Dinosaur's gay. Just so you know.
The Bullet was written especially for the CBS. The Bullet was written especially for the CBS Radio Mystery Theater.
Should I read Martian Chronicles? Got a copy from an estate sale. Yes. Martian Chronicles rocks. You can't go wrong with a Bradbury book. All of them are good. Every single one. I've never read a bad one. Illustrated Man, Martian Chronicles, Dandelion Wine, you know, obviously even the cliche one, I'm too hipster to read, Fahrenheit 451. They're all good, dude. They're all, he's got such like a nostalgic feeling to all his stories that just takes you back, even for a time you've never lived in, and it's just, I don't know.
By Sam
There's something I love about Bradbury.
And stars Larry Haynes. I shall be back shortly with Act 1.
And this is The Bullet, Episode 3 of CBS Radio Mystery Theater. We are early. Yeah, Something Wicked This Way comes. That one's going to be on the low end for me. It's a little, I don't know, I'd have to reread it. That one I remember not liking as much as the other stuff. But like I said, I've never read one that was bad.
It's a quiet little bar, Paddy Noonan's. And Jerry Price stops there every evening on his way home from work. He's not looking for anything special in the way of atmosphere, adventure, companionship.
He's looking for crack cocaine, and he's gonna find it.
There's no intention of getting drunk. Just a couple of beers, perhaps, to bridge a busy day, to ease the fatigue, the strain on his nerves. In the comfortable half-light of Paddy Noonan's, the world outside becomes vague, distant, especially when Old Man O'Rourke is holding forth.
And he lay there, his head against the barricade, and the blood from him falling soft upon the pavements. I looked in his face, and I could see his death was upon him. "'Tis a bitter thing," I said, "to die at 17. And for a moment his darkening eyes held mine. And with his last strength he said, "'Tis a sweet thing to die for Ireland."
Sweet indeed, Mr. O'Rourke.
Oh, where's Crispy? Ireland mentioned. Crispy Johnson has been summoned.
Any calls for one in the house?
I thank you, Paddy Noonan.
Ah, I see.
My racism against the Irish has been triggered.
Price, excuse me. Good evening, Jerry.
Hi.
I didn't notice you come in.
Well, when
And my name has been mentioned. This story was made for me.
Old Man O'Rourke's in form, you don't see anybody, Paddy.
The old man there, he carries his war. I know I carry mine. You ever think of yours, Jerry?
No, never.
Never?
Don't. The day I came home from Vietnam, I put away the uniform. I also put away everything that went with it. The army, the war, like a snake sheds his skin. Now, the past is gone, Paddy. It's dead, so you forget it. You go on to other things.
Hey, what's everybody drinking? This round's on me. Set 'em up, Paddy.
Mr. Edward Clark himself. And what's the occasion?
Hey, I got a little announcement. Guess what the old lady tells me this morning?
We're getting divorced.
Number 10
Everybody
is on its
celebrate.
way.
Oh, that event around must be on the house, Mr. Clark.
Just a quick one, Paddy. Hey, I got the truck outside.
What are you hoping for this time, Ed, boy or girl?
Let's see. What do I got now? 4 boys and 5... No, I got 5 boys and 4... who can keep them straight? All I know is I'm always tripping over somebody. 10 kids in 12 years.
Well, you can't tell me it isn't exciting to hear there's going to be a new baby.
Oh, yeah. I know it's going to be a kid that'll wet his pants and keep me up half the night. It's another mouth I got to feed. Yeah, well, guys, I got to ride. I'll see you tomorrow.
You know, Paddy, it's funny.
I know it's gonna be another kid I'm gonna have to beat with my belt. It's gonna, my arm's getting so tired.
Don't want kids. Can't stand kids. Can't afford them. Can't raise them. They can't help getting kids. Whereas, oh, well, guess there just isn't any justice in this world.
Well, there may be no justice, Jerry, but there's always hope. How long have you been married?
Right after I get out of the army, it'll be 9 years.
A fellow used to come in here, and they were married 15 years before they had their first.
Am I really out of the army 9 years? Tell me, Paddy, you're an old philosopher. Where does it go, huh?
Down the hatch and try another.
Yeah, don't mind if I do. Oh, wait on a paying customer first.
Where?
The fella standing at the end of the bar.
What are you saying, Jerry?
You sure you didn't drink a little bit before you came in here, Jerry?
There's nobody standing at the end of
In the brown hat and a raincoat.
Now, Jerry, what are you
I
saying?
know. That's Paul.
Tell me, what's the matter, Jerry?
Paul.
Jerry, listen to me. There's nobody.
Paul. Hey, he was just standing here. Where'd he go? Where is he?
Jerry, where is who?
Jerry got into the PCP again.
You all right, Jerry?
Yeah, I'm all right. But I saw him.
Who?
Oh,
Ghost, if we're lucky, we'll get another episode like that, all right? But I'll just let you know, when I'm going through the episode list, I'm looking for any mention of an animal at all. Because if the past is any telling of the future, it's going to be good.
a guy I was in the army with.
The 2 of you. Were you close?
He was my buddy.
Well, when was the last time you saw him in person?
The night he was killed.
Have you ever seen him again? Like you thought you did just now?
No, this is the first time.
Well, maybe you need a rest, Jerry.
Hattie, why now? Why tonight after all these years?
Well, you say you saw him last the night he died in battle. Well, the sight of him dead must have stayed with you always.
That's not how I just saw him, Patty. He wasn't in uniform. He was in civilian clothes.
You might have pictured him as he looked at a happier time.
I never saw him in civilian clothes. We met in the Army. And, Patty, I didn't see him as he was then. We were both kids, about 20. I saw him the way he'd looked today, about 30. His face was more mature.
Jerry, are you sure he's dead?
He is dead, Patty. I just saw him. I know I saw him.
Yo, I think the ghost dog stuck with all of us, dude. Oh, shouts out. Shouts out to K-Ram, dude. Sending $5 super chat. Thank you so much. And I don't think she put any message in there. Thank you so much. Let me just double check because I want to make sure there wasn't a message here. Cheers to spooky porch streams. Yo. Thank you. Thank you, K-Ram. Really appreciate you. I'm pretty sure that was a super chat from K-Ram. I'm trying really hard not to read people's real names out, dox them, so I have been known to do that every once in a while. So please forgive me.
Jerry, it's after midnight.
Oh, I'm not finished, honey. I have to clean up these reports, Marge.
Honey, a new rule has just been passed in this house. All paperwork shall be done in the daytime.
Marge, I have to call on customers. Be reasonable, huh?
Am I the kind of wife who makes idle criticism? No, indeed. Constructive suggestions, that's my motto.
Idle? Definitely not idle. It's more like a droning, constant stream.
Northeast Distributors can solve all your paperwork problems by hiring a girl.
Honey, I'm lucky to have the job.
No, Jerry. You're not lucky. They're lucky. Well, everybody knows you're a terrific salesman. Well, you could get another job tomorrow. More money, less headache.
Honey, I couldn't walk out on Joe Keller.
Why not?
Well, I'll never forget what that man did for me. I came home from the Army, a kid with no experience. I needed a job. He took a chance with me. Now he needs me.
Oh. Well, I'm just worried about you, Jerry. You look so tired all the time.
No, I'm in great shape.
Will you go see Doc Steiner?
I did, today.
Oh, well, it's about time.
I'm in
You
great
needed
shape.
it.
I'm hallucinating people who aren't there. It's not a big deal. It happens to everybody. Honestly, who amongst us hasn't hallucinated people standing at the end of the bar every once in a while?
Check up.
Well, I didn't just go for the checkup, honey. I went for the other thing.
Jerry.
Well, he said some people, men, well, they're okay in every way, but it just doesn't work out for them.
Jerry, it's all right.
No, honey. It's all my fault.
Oh, honey.
It's...
I swear I didn't pick this story because my name's in there. I promise.
Well, it's
Maybe
just
subconscious.
unlikely there can never be any kids. He said unlikely. What he meant was impossible.
We've got each other.
Yeah. If only you didn't want a child so badly.
Now we'll definitely think about adopting. Okay?
Yeah, okay.
Sometimes that works out even better. Come on, honey. Let me see you smile.
Marge, I don't know what I'd do without you.
Oh, that makes us even. I don't know what I'd do without you. Come on, get to bed.
Yeah, I'll just have a cigarette, huh? Honey, why'd you turn on the music?
To make sure you don't try to sneak in some work. I know you can't concentrate with the music going.
I'll just be a couple of minutes, honey.
Halt! Let's hear that password.
Paul, is that you?
Jerry. Hey, climb down the hole, make yourself at home.
That's it, Marilyn. You're getting 3 stars pulled to the 5 stars you won that one night. You're late. I can't believe it. I'm so insulted. This hurts my feelings. My ego has been hurt.
Man, I'm so beat I can't even remember the password.
That's all
Good
right.
to see you, Marilyn.
I don't even know what it is.
Got a cigarette?
What'd they want back at the CP, Jerry?
Patrol.
You going?
Yep.
But you went out yesterday.
Well, maybe I better write to my congressman, huh?
I don't have any more cigarettes. Here, finish this one.
Paul, Well, I don't know if I can go out again. We're being relieved tomorrow. We were promised a rest. I just don't know if I can go out again.
But you ain't going out, Jerry. Didn't you hear? I'm going.
Oh, no.
I'll say you and I made a trade.
No, Paul, I can't let some other guy
But
do...
I'm not some other guy. I'm your buddy. What's the matter, Jerry? You never did it for me.
Don't say that. Don't say buddy like Elmo. Like you're freaking, I'm your little buddy. I'm your little buddy. I'm going to go get shot in the face for you because I'm your buddy. That's what buddies are for.
Can I have a drag on that butt, Jerry?
Paul, you're alive.
Yo, you know
alive.
what this reminds me of? This reminds me of American Werewolf in London. Is that the movie with the ghost? Or is it the sequel, American Werewolf in Paris or whatever? With the dead friend who keeps showing up as a ghost. This reminds me of that very much.
Hi, Jerry. I'm here with you. In your living room.
No, you can't be here. I went out afterward. I found your body. I carried it back. Maybe it wasn't you.
It was me.
But you were dead. You were killed.
Yes, Jerry. I was killed.
Jerry, will you turn that radio off and come to
Don't
bed?
you psychoanalyze me, John, alright? Because you're going to get a little too close to home, and then I'm going to start crying on stream, and then everybody's going to laugh, and it's going to be your fault. So don't do that to me. You're my buddy, John. Don't do that to me, buddy. Come on. Yeah, that's a good movie, for sure.
Marge, he's here.
Who's here?
Can't you see him?
Jerry, I don't see anyone.
Paul, why can't she see you?
She will. They all will.
When?
Later. I have to go now, Jerry.
No.
Okay, buddy, that's a little unsettling.
Paul, tell her.
Jerry.
She'll think I'm crazy, Paul. He's gone, Marge. He's gone.
Jerry, honey, what's going on here?
Marge, he was here. He was right here.
Ooh.
Now, you gotta believe that. I'm not drunk, and I'm not crazy.
I believe you. I believe you, Jerry. Now, here, just sit down.
That would be tough. So we can stream movies if they're in the public domain. Movies are really hard to get away with. Technically, I'm not even supposed to be streaming the stories. Okay, this is like, I'm breaking the rules a little bit. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if I have to take it to confession. Like, I don't know if that's like, I'll talk to Father Andrew about it. Technically, I'm not supposed to even be reading this because it's copyright. But, I mean, maybe once the AI overlords have scanned everything and they can find the books in the midst of my stories, even though I don't put the titles in the title of the video, we can watch certain movies as long as they're out of copyright. But once they're in copyright, it's difficult. American Werewolf, that's probably too recent. I could check. But we might be able to get away with it on Rumble, something like that.
Don't do anything. Don't say anything.
And we know who she's calling. But can a doctor help what ails Jerry?
Spoiler alert, no. Definitely not.
And now, Act 2 of The Bullet. Let us trace the path of the bullet. We have a worried Marge, a concerned Dr. Steiner, and a distracted Jerry.
Tell me about this man.
Oh, I misunderstood your comment. I thought you were critiquing me, saying I wasn't being fair, but that's very true. I'm not making money off of it, so that's fair game. I'm making money off of my brilliant commentary. You know, just literal tens of dollars off of my brilliant commentary and my cutting wit.
Paul, you called him Jerry.
I said we were buddies, Doctor. That tells it all.
Jerry, please don't be so hostile. Dr. Steiner's only trying to help.
You were buddies. You came back alive and he didn't.
Yo.
There's an extensive medical literature on the subject.
Oh, I'm sure there is.
Jerry.
I'm not being hostile, Marge. I know I saw him.
Of course you saw him.
Well, finally.
But that doesn't mean he was there. You see, Jerry, the death of a wartime comrade remains an eternal reproach. All who survive are sentenced forever to feelings of guilt.
No. Doctor, the wars are fought by kids in foxholes. The literature is written by doctors and authors.
That's hardly fair, Jerry.
I'm the authority on war, Doctor, because I was a kid in a foxhole, and I don't feel guilty about my buddy.
You don't?
No.
Tell me why.
No, you wouldn't believe it.
Try me.
Well, he was my buddy, and I was his guy, and he was my buddy guy.
All right. You see, there's a bullet, and it's designed especially for you. And if it's your
And it's got Moldy Apple's name on it because he's late. You see, Moldy, there's a bullet, and it's got your name on it. And it's called, You Were Even Later Than Marilyn. So that's at least 4 stars demoted from you.
bullet, it'll find you no matter where you are.
Good to
You
see
can't
you,
evade
Moldy.
it, you can't avoid it. It was meant for you. It was meant to be. You and the bullet. Both of you were dust, originally. You were dust because the Bible says so. And the bullet was also just dust in the ground. Well, that bullet was mined and refined and cast into metal. It was shaped into a slug and joined with a shell. It was one of billions of bullets, but it was yours, all yours. And at the right time, there'd be a tremendous explosion of gases in a narrow chamber. And the bullet would be torn loose from the shell case and spun around the grooves of a gun barrel and hurled through space. This is the bullet you don't hear. You don't hear it, Doctor. You don't hear it whine past your ear or ping off a rock or thwack against a tree. That's because it's your very own bullet. It's coming to meet you, or you're going to meet it. It's been arranged. You see? It's an appointment that can never be broken. The dust that had become the bullet would encounter the dust that had become you. And after a while, both of you would become dust once again and return to the ground. Your original home.
Jerry, I know you're overworked, you're overwrought, you're overtired.
I keep telling him to slow down.
Okay. I know I'm under a strain. I know I'm working too hard, but what can I do?
Jerry, try to understand. Right now, you're having what is popularly known as a nervous breakdown.
Right now, you're having what is scientifically called a freak out. You're freaking the freak out, buddy.
This alleged visitor from another world. I say he's an illusion. I say you have subconscious feelings about him which you're not aware of. And I say they burst through because of heavy pressure on your nervous system.
And I say you're attracted to your mother because this is the 1970s and we're all about Sigmund Freud down here.
You'd say that.
Prove me wrong.
How?
Go away. Get out from under. Rest a while. Relax.
Oh, honey, this looks like a good spot. You want to stop here and try for some fish?
Well, Marge, I think I'd like to go back and play 9 holes this afternoon.
Great. I need more practice with my irons.
Honey, you know, you've been getting a lot of sun.
You
Maybe
sure
better
do. These pants are terrible.
Take it easy for a few hours, huh?
And besides, you have an appointment with, what's that name? Biscayne Appliances. See, Jerry, I wasn't sleeping when you called that number this morning.
Marge,
Yo, that's a fact, Jason. For real. That's how I feel every day. I'm like, I'm about to have a nervous breakdown.
I've been
I'm hallucinating freaking Ewoks dancing on the snowfields.
good all month. I was just getting restless, that's all. Look, they're a big chain down here. If I can open them up, I'll justify the trip.
Justify? To whom? Why do you have to justify anything? Isn't your health important enough?
Honey, Joe Keller was very nice about it.
Joe Keller had no choice.
Marge. Honey, Steiner was right. I was beat. I don't know how I managed to drag myself along. So I did the right thing. I chucked it all. Now I'm fit, see? I never felt better in my life, and I'm raring to go.
Great. In a month or two, we may think about going back.
I'm not used to being idle, honey.
Neither am I. But I am learning to love it.
Oh, Marge. Why didn't I meet you when I was young?
Young. Jerry, you weren't even 21.
No, I was already made when we met. I had already become what I was going to be. You know, I've got a certain amount of ability.
A tremendous amount, Jerry.
But I'm not confident, honey. I doubt myself. I guess I didn't have very much encouragement when I was a kid. You know, my brother was a great athlete. My sister was a great beauty. I was kind of clumsy and funny looking. Anyway, Frank and Alice were sent to college. When my turn came, the money had run out. Or maybe they thought I wasn't worth the effort. That's why I enlisted when I was 18. I had to get away from the house and my father. There was no place else to go.
You never told me this, honey.
I decided if I ever had a kid, I'd never make jokes at his expense or tear him down in any way. I know how these things cut inside where it doesn't show. I would
Sounding a little girly now, bud.
do everything to build him up and give him confidence. I will never have any real confidence, Marge.
Oh, yes, you will.
No, baby. You won't get it from a pep talk.
I'm a for real, red-pilled incel, baby. You don't get it.
I think we can go back home now, Marge.
All right, on one condition. You'll just have to slow down.
I promise.
And, honey, there's only one way you can really slow down. And that's to get a partnership from Joe Kelly.
Now, Marge.
Don't you deserve it?
Of course I do.
Well, we're going to adopt a child. Which means I'll quit my job, and you're not going to spend time on the road. That kid'll need both of us, won't he?
Yes, honey, he will.
That kid'll need both of us to cut down his confidence, won't he?
Then we need that partnership, don't we?
Yo, that would be crazy. That would actually be pretty crazy.
Jerry, baby. You look like $1 million. Less 2% for cash, of course.
Yeah, Joe.
Hold it. Ramona, no calls. I'm in a meeting. I can't be disturbed.
Well, anyhow, Joe, hello.
I want you to take it easy for a while, you hear?
Yeah, I'm ready for action, Joe.
Oh, you think you're ready. Now, listen. I know you had a lot of expenses. I want you to take this little check. It's only $500. I'm strapped for cash this week. I had to pop for a whole new computer setup. But anyway, I decided to increase your bonus to 5%. That'll amount to a pretty sweet raise, huh?
Now, Joe.
Don't thank me, kid. You're entitled to it. We got to make sure you don't get sick again.
Joe, I have to talk with you.
Well, sure, kid. What about?
Well, it's, personal and important.
Well, let me buy you lunch. Well, Jerry, what are we going to talk about? I'm fresh out of polite conversation.
Joe, I want a partnership.
No, you don't, Jerry.
But, Joe...
No, don't interrupt. You don't want one. You'd like one. Two different things.
Now, don't nitpick, Joe.
You'd like a partnership, which means it would be swell. Great if you had it. But want is something else. It means lack. It means need. I know you'd like to own a business, but...
No,
You're
I'm pretty sure want does not mean need.
Cut out to be
Pretty sure about that one, but this is a cute little semantic trick you're playing here.
an owner.
Why?
Because an owner is an officer. And in your heart, you'll always be an enlisted man. Tell me, could you ever fire a guy because you could get someone else cheaper? If an old customer, a good friend, was getting slow paying bills, could you cut him off? Thousands of guys like you go bankrupt every year.
Damn, dude.
You're nice, sweet, big
You're too soft.
hearted,
You're too soft to run this business with me.
but you don't have the guts business needs.
Well, I'd like to remind you of the volume I sell.
I know it to the penny, Jerry, and you're well paid for it.
Well, I'm worth more now.
You are. You got a sweet raise this morning.
Joe, don't think I'm not grateful. You gave me my first break. But I think I can do better elsewhere.
Where?
Anywhere. Consolidated, Freeman and Singer. Should I go down the list?
Oh, they'd love to have you, Jerry. What'll they pay? They handle the nationally advertised brands. What'll you be, their glorified order taker? They don't need your full selling ability, so they don't have to pay you full price for it. Sure, with me, you push out all the schlock. It's rough, but you get top dollar. There's 20 outfits like mine. They grab you tomorrow, but where's the improvement?
You get $1.25 an hour. That's top dollar back then.
They won't pay you more. At least here, you got 9 years equity in a pension plan. You and me are used to each other. Besides, I really like you. Yeah. Sometimes I feel like a father to you, Jerry.
Yo, what is this mind game he's playing? You're weak, you're gutless, you're spineless. I feel like a father to you. His dad did cut him down. What is this?
It was a fiasco, Patty, a fiasco. And how do I break it to Marge?
Oh, what's it all about, Jerry?
Well, at least I don't have to put up with Ed Clark tonight. I think I'd punch him right in the mouth.
We'll be deprived of his wonderful company in the next 2 weeks. He's tooling that trailer into the southwest.
Hello, Jerry.
Pretty soon it's gonna frickin' take a cask of Amontillado twist. He's gonna be like, now why don't you send that wife over here and I'll make you pop.
Patty. Patty, is someone standing behind me?
No, Jerry.
Paul, will you tell me why?
I'll tell you everything, Jerry.
When?
Soon. I think maybe tonight.
Paul, why do you keep popping in like this?
I don't know, buddy. I can't control that.
Yeah, but Paul. Patty, don't you see anyone?
No, Jerry.
Hey, you didn't hear anyone talking to me either.
No.
Patty, do you think I'm crazy?
Well, maybe you should see a doctor.
I saw a doctor.
Well, how about one of them psychiatrist fellas?
I never even told my wife. I did see a psychiatrist. But after a while, I figured why pay him $50 an hour when I can come in here and talk to you for nothing?
Well, there must be more to them fellas than that.
Oh, sure. He said that the roots of my problem go back to my unhappy childhood. But, Patty, I have a brother, Frank, who feels terribly insecure. He goes to a psychiatrist, too. Why? He had a happy childhood.
Put it this way. If you see someone and I don't, the flaw can be in me and not in you. Drink?
No. I better go home and face the music.
Jerry? Let's go someplace and talk.
Where?
Let's go to the parking lot. Sit in your car.
It's cold. That won't bother you, will it?
Not yet. Turn the heater on for yourself.
When will everyone else be able to see you, Paul?
In 2 weeks.
Oh, that's great.
No, it ain't.
Why not?
Because you'll be dead.
Oh, that sucks. Darn it.
Because you'll be dead. Cold words from a warm friend. The chill inside the car becomes intense. But Jerry knows there's no point in turning on the heater. We'll rejoin these two friends when I
what?
And now we return to the final act of The Bullet and a reunion of two war buddies who haven't seen each other in almost 9 years. Jerry Price, who is alive, and Paul Gardner, who is dead.
The heater in this car doesn't do much good. You're shivering.
Why am I going to be dead, Paul?
Remember the night I went out on the patrol?
Yeah, I'll remember that night as long as I live.
I completed my job. I was headed back. And then I felt something smash against my head. And I knew I just met the bullet. You know, the bullet we used to talk about? I bet you don't remember.
No, I remember.
I felt it slam into me. And then I didn't know anything anymore.
Yeah, well, when the guys told me, I went out to get you, Paul.
Yeah, I might have known you would. 1 minute, I was moving through a rice paddy. And the next minute, I'm sitting in an office. And I knew a lot of time had gone by. Don't ask me how. I knew, that's all. A man was talking to me.
What kind of man?
You know the type that's a clerk in the government or a big corporation, fussy, self-important. Everything's got to be in the right place. He doesn't even look at me. He's got a piece of paper. He says, Paul Gardner, you're going back. You should not have died that night. The computation was for you to survive. The plan was for you to marry a girl named Marjorie Stone.
I married Marjorie Stone.
Yeah, I told the guy, I want no part of it.
Well, I knew someone was coming for his wife.
Gives me a look, this clerk does. Like he couldn't care less about me or you or anybody else. And he says, come with me. He leads me to a door. It opens. And all I can hear is a hum and a clicking. And all I can see is a computer. I mean, there's no end to the thing. That's all you can see is computer. And he says, there it is, friend. City Hall. Go fight it. By this time, I'm shaking. That machine scared the pants off me. You couldn't see the top nor the bottom of it. There was no end to it, just a machine wherever the eye could see.
Well, then what happened?
This clerk, he tells me there's a plan. A capital P plan. It calls for me to come home. Not you.
Yeah, you did kind of call that one, Ghost.
Joe, maybe that's fair, Paul. You were always the better man.
No, you got more on the ball. You never got a break, that's all. I had the chance to go to school, become somebody. I could have gone into the old man's business, become the biggest hardware dealer in Atlanta. You and me, we both run away to join the army. You because you had nothing, me because I had everything.
But why are you coming back?
Because Marge and I are supposed to have a boy. A certain kind of a boy. He'll grow up, I don't know, discover something, create something, or be somebody the world needs real bad. They wouldn't tell me what.
He's gonna invent mumble rap.
Anyhow, 40, 50 years from now, he has to be here. And of all the millions of men and women, he could only be born to me and Marge.
When am I leaving?
I told you. In 2 weeks.
How?
9 o'clock at night. A trailer truck will go past Patty Noonan's saloon. Just as you're crossing the street.
And why does it have to be like that?
Because you don't know how careful these things are figured. You could get killed a million ways. But the plan calls for a truck driven by a guy named Ed Clark.
Oh, yeah, I know Ed Clark.
He doesn't have a good record, so it'll be easy to prove he's a careless driver. He works for a big outfit, so Marge will have a good settlement.
But why? I still don't
She'll
understand.
need the money. You see, I won't be a good father. Not as good as you, for sure. Oh, I'll love the kid. I'll love Marge, but I won't be there a lot. You know me. I have to keep moving.
But if you know how important it is for the kid...
So I'm gonna take your wife and I'm gonna be the world's shittiest husband. But it's gotta be this way, pal.
Oh, no.
It's gotta be this way, buddy.
Once I'm alive, I won't remember any of this.
And you say it's all figured out, maybe not. The human element. How can the machine predict Marge would go for you, huh?
With all due respect, Jerry, did I ever have any trouble landing any dame I had my sights on?
Well, with all due respect, I can't see Marge falling for your line of chatter.
She will, Jerry. I'll be there when she's having a bad time. She'll be all alone. She'll need somebody. Things will take their natural course. Sure, she'll see through my line, but after a while she'll get to like it. I'm different. You're quiet, I raise hell. You let things eat at your insides, not me. I pop off. Maybe my way's no better in the long run. And she's married to you, and she loves you. But deep in her heart, she loves my way better. She'll fall in love with me. Jerry, you have to believe I don't want to do this, but it was your bullet, not mine.
I don't know, guys. Would you do it? Would you trust him? It was your bullet. He's just got, look at, all you got to do is you got to die. You got to let him take your wife. And then you got to let him abandon your wife. Would you? Would you do it?
Jerry? What are you thinking about?
Oh, a guy downstate wants to cancel a carload of refrigerators, so I'm figuring an approach.
Didn't we agree we'll work at home?
Yeah, well, honey, this is just thinking.
Did you talk to Joe Keller about the partnership?
Yeah.
And?
He said no.
Did you give him notice?
No, he gave me a raise.
Oh. Okay.
Marge.
Why don't you mix us a drink?
Honey, aren't you going to say anything?
Mm-hmm. Don't put in too much ice.
Marge, please, you don't understand.
I understand. I married a certain kind of man.
And you're stuck with him?
No, I'll stick by him. Because I love him.
Would you have wanted a guy who'd barge into Joe Keller's office and say, Joe, either give me half the joint or I'll open up across the street and run you out of business?
Oh, come on,
Answer me,
Jerry.
Marge. I have to know.
Well, maybe I did.
Why didn't you marry him?
He never showed up.
So you settled
Damn!
That's what's known as falling in love.
Damn!
Come on, honey, take me to the movies.
for me? No, I don't want to take you to the movies. Let's go downtown and see a play.
But that's a lot of money.
Are you going to worry about money? Now, and look, this weekend, would you like to fly out to, say, Snow Valley and
Snow?
ski? Yeah, or how about Las Vegas, huh?
Jerry, what's gotten into you?
Honey, we're going to have 2 weeks of the most fantastic...
Why 2 weeks? Oh, what's so special?
You? Me? I just want to spend the rest of my life having a ball with you.
Right?
Hello.
Why didn't you marry a guy like that? Well, I just never found him. He swiped left, you know? You were the only poor schmuck who came along, and I settled for second best.
Oh, stranger. I haven't seen you. Why, it must be weeks. Where have you been?
Giving Marge a good time.
Well, I must say, it's done wonders for you. You look so calm.
Do I?
Do you ever see the little guy who wasn't there?
No.
Well, that's good. Let's drink to it. Jerry, if I'm not being forward, what did he want from you?
You wouldn't believe it, Patty.
Do you believe it?
Well, I, just dropped in to say hello, Patty, and goodbye.
Jerry,
Yeah?
something's the matter with you.
Well, I understand Ed Clark is due back here tonight. I don't want to run into him. I just don't want to talk to him.
Well, if that's how you feel, I'll buy him from the joint. Now, Jerry, something's wrong with you.
No, nothing, Patty.
Now, look, I'm an old soldier, Jerry. I can tell.
No, it's really nothing.
Really, is it? No, Jerry, you got a look on your face.
What kind of look?
I've seen it before in the war. I've seen it on men who go out on the impossible mission. The look of men who know they're not coming back. The resigned look. What are you resigned to, Jerry?
You have a vivid imagination.
I have an imagination. Jerry, whatever it is, don't be resigned to it. Fight it.
You can't fight City.
I knew it. You're in a fight, Jerry. Well, you can fight anybody. You're an ex-combat soldier, and you weren't afraid of anything. When you were out there, you faced up to death, hunger, despair. What happened to you, Jerry? Where did you lose it? Face up to it now. Whoever he is, spit in his eye.
Patty, I can't do anything.
Jerry, I'm gonna throw you out of here for your own good. Now leave town. Go far away for a while. Fight it, Jerry, fight it.
Patty, wherever I go.
Listen to old Patty, just take off.
Don't you see there's a plan?
Who cares? Put up a fight.
Why are you so...
Don't you see there's this big computer in the sky, and it spit out a plan for me, and that's why I gotta die and get my best friend my wife.
Said Patty, huh?
I like
I
this
don't
bartender.
know, but listen to me. Fight now. Now get out of here.
Yeah, he's just got to stop being a loser. That's all, you know? It's like, have you ever tried just being a different person?
Patty Noonan.
Patty, it's Jerry. I decided to fight it.
Good boy, Jerry.
You know, Patty, there's something about your place. I don't know how to say it, but I feel stronger, better, away from it.
Well, I don't mind.
So I'm going to fight. What have I got to lose, huh? Why should I do what he tells me? Why should I believe him?
I don't know what it is, but I agree.
I'll see you around, Patty.
Universal Airlines Flight number 3 for Los Angeles and Mexico City, now boarding at gate 17.
Who you calling, Jerry?
Marge, I have to tell him.
Jerry, don't do it this way. There'll be 100 other people on that plane. Do it the way it has to be done.
Paul, I have to fight you.
Why?
Because it isn't fair.
Yeah, why don't you have a car? Hey, have you thought about getting a car? Have you thought about that? I see you don't have a car. Maybe just think about getting a car.
Was it fair for me to stop your bullet? Come on, Jerry. Ed Clark will be tooling by Patty's in less than an hour.
Paul, I don't know if I have the nerve.
I'll help you, buddy. I'll help you. Come on.
Hello? Hello? What is it, Mr. Noonan?
I called you, and I hope it wasn't out of turn, Mrs. Price. It's about Jerry.
What about Jerry?
He's sitting back there in a booth. Now, wait. Don't go to him yet. He's in trouble.
Well, it can't be. We've had such a glorious 2 weeks.
He's in trouble.
Well, what kind of trouble?
I don't know. We have to help him somehow.
Is it that Buddy?
I think so.
Well, the time has come to lay that nonsense to rest once and for all, and I'm going to...
That won't work. Agree with him. Show him anything he wants is okay with you. Don't fight him. Or we can give him his love.
Hi, honey.
Hi.
Buy me a drink.
Oh, sure. You know,
I don't know about that advice. Just agree with whatever he says. Just say yes. Like, why would he say that? Why?
I knew you had those little gold highlights in your hair.
Oh, I'm using a different bottle this week.
I love you.
I love you, too. And I want you to be with me always.
Come on, Jerry. Let's start.
No, not yet.
Are you talking to me?
The plan calls for it.
How do I know there is a plan?
Ask anybody.
Think of the plan, Jerry, the plan.
Ask Marge.
Jerry, what are you talking about?
Marge, do you believe there's a plan that determines the actions of everybody in the whole world?
No,
You sure?
I'm sure.
Well, then how do you think things work out?
Oh, good. She didn't even follow the advice. She wasn't even listening. It just went in one ear and out the other. Thank God. Okay, good. At least you could always count on her for not paying attention.
Every which way.
Come on, Jerry. It's time.
No, I won't go.
Where won't you go?
Then, Marge, as far as you're concerned, there isn't any plan.
Oh, well, what do you think, Jerry?
No, that's not important. What do you think?
Well, yes.
Oh,
Yes,
fuck.
there is a plan. I can prove it.
You can?
Yes, but you started me thinking there has to be a plan.
Okay, well, so much for that. The moment I freaking compliment her for being blonde, the moment I compliment her, she goes and throws it in the trash.
Otherwise, you and I, we just never would have met. Remember that day?
Yeah. You were taking cash at Ryman's drugstore. That's the only reason I walked in there.
Well, I'd already given notice. I was going to leave. And then you walked in and asked Doc if you could open a charge. Then and there, I decided to stay.
And where?
So you see, that's why you must die for the computer.
Where were you going?
Oh, away. Pull up stakes.
Why?
Well, my folks were gone. My friends were married. The neighborhood had changed. The girl I went to school with had a father, a construction engineer. He'd been transferred. Well, she took a job in his new office, and she wrote and said she found a nice crowd. They needed secretaries down there. She could fix it up. Well, why not? I was set to go. But it was not to be. You came wandering into Ryman's. Obviously, there's a master plan that rules our lives.
And you came bumbling into my life like the solid 5 you are.
Where was this wonderful place you almost went to?
Atlanta?
Atlanta?
Oh, what's so remarkable about that, Jerry?
It was definite you were going.
Well, sure.
And only because you met me.
Only because I met you. Otherwise, I'd have gone to Atlanta and married a southern millionaire. But evidently something had been planned for me.
Well, guys, I guess she just signed his death certificate, just like that.
Aren't you flattered? I met you, and it changed my whole life.
Are you ready to go now, Jerry?
And then in comes the freaking bad music, you just know.
Marge, will you come with me?
Yes, Jerry. Where do you want to go?
Why, I have to do
I would really like to jump in front of this subway, but I decided I'm taking you with me.
something.
You bastard.
Come with you.
No, wait here, darling, please.
It's time, buddy. Just like going out on a patrol.
Jerry, where are you going?
It's all right, Patty. It's all right.
I didn't want this, buddy.
I know. I don't want you to take my bullet either.
Goodbye, Jerry.
Yeah, goodbye, Paul. Take care of her for me, huh?
You know I will.
Call the police! Get an ambulance!
Oh, dear. Barry. He's dead.
Here, miss. Here, you're cold. Let me throw this coat over you.
She's gonna faint.
It's all right. I got her. We'll bring her into that bar where it's warm. Give her a little stimulant. It's all right. Everything will be all right. Everything will be... It'll be all right.
So many people preface what they believe with, "It is written." It is written in the stars. It is written on the wind. And for so many like Jerry, it is written on the bullet. I'll be back shortly.
Don't you just love a happy ending?
I remember an old soldier once told me he wasn't worried about the bullet that had his name on it. What really bothered him was the bullet marked, "To whom it may concern." Our concern is mystery, excitement, suspense, thrills and chills. Our cast included Larry Haynes, E.V. Juster, Martin Newman, Ralph Bell, Leon Janney, and Danny Acco. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown.
Okay. Nice happy story. Nice happy way to end the night. What the hell, dude? That was a pretty cool line at the end, though. The bullet mark to whom it may concern. That was pretty cool. Man, some of these older episodes have a little bit better production value. You know, they're just a little bit nicer. They got a little bit more, like, reverb or whatever the heck on E.G. Marshall's voice. A little bit, they put a little more effort into it, it seems like. I thought it was pretty good. I was hella wrong on the prediction for this one. Always next time, though. Yeah, I mean, you did kind of get the possession one. I'd say that's about a 2.5 star. That's a 2.5 star guess. But you were the only one to guess. So then again, you know, everybody loses the shots they don't take and such and so on. Who would name their own son Hyman Brown? Yes, missing the fake cat sounds. I was just looking through the list while we were listening, and there was one episode. Where is it? I saw another cat episode. The cat's name was Evil. Here it is. The Resident. A move from the countryside to town leaves a retired lady prey to a cat named Evil and a young girl who forcibly moves in with her. So I saw that. I said, oh, cat named Evil. And then when you go into the comments section for the episode, seeing what people are saying about it, here, I'll share the screen. You go in, click on The Resident here, click on the comments, and everybody's complaining because they're like, the person who wrote this hates cats. Where is it? Except that the characters in this story did not act like real cats at all. This story has nothing to do with cats as they really are. It's just a twisted, sick story written by someone who is most likely a cat hater. So I'm like, okay, maybe this episode's good. So maybe we'll watch that one next time. Yeah, fake cat sounds are epic. Oh, of course. So as soon as I saw that, cat named Evil, I think it's worth listening to. Maybe I'll check it out, you know, in between streams to see if it's worth it. Just like the episode we watched with the dog hater? I know, dude. I know. I think maybe they just had some people that really didn't like animals writing for this show or something, but I don't know. That one episode was kind of a downer, but I don't know. I remember listening to it and thinking, wow, that was really good. But now on the second listen, I'm like, kind of depressing. Dude just kills himself at the end. Okay, nice. Thank y'all so much for being here. Hope you enjoyed the show. Hope we all had fun. I had fun. I'm grateful for all you guys hanging out in the chat, for everybody that super chats and comments, that hangs out in the live chat, for all the people that have been hanging out with us through all the different iterations of the channel. Really appreciate you guys. Love y'all. And until next time, Lilywalk signing out. Wigga Allen Poe signing out. Peace out. God bless. Later.